All right, everybody. What is up? A special late night edition of the Do Dissidents podcast. Keaton Weiss here with Russell Dobular on the case.
Hello.
Yeah, he's got his detective hat on.
There's my on the case hat.
Hold on one second. I'll be right back. My cat's begging me to let him out.
Yeah, I can hear that. All right. Well, so to explain to everybody, this is in honor of the Indiana Jones trailer dropping. No, I'm kidding. This is what I wear in the wintertime. And because this was like a last minute thing, I have such severe hat head that I just would not have been able to straighten that situation out. So I'm just going with the hat.
Yeah, Russell thought the
Oh,
hat...
look, Sammy knew it was Australian. Sammy, I'm impressed with that.
Excellent.
Yeah, crikey. He's right. It isn't a Kubra. This is a hat particular to Australia.
That cat was such a pain in the ass. That cat begs to go out, and then when I go to let him out of the room, he runs away.
I miss my cat.
Such a bastard. You can have this one. I don't like him anymore. He's just a squatter at this point. Sits here, pisses, shits, eats. That's it.
I mean, my theory with cats is basically they're like kids. You got to get them young.
Oh my God.
Past a certain age, like you can't train them.
Yeah. Well, we got this guy really young. Really young. We adopted him at Bethel Woods at a holiday festival that we were working, a summer festival rather. And so we named him Woody for Woodstock, since that's where the Woodstock concert happened. And he was a great kitten, but he's a real pain in the ass now. Really getting to be an asshole in middle age.
That's what happens.
He's really a dick. Like I really don't like him anymore.
My cat got nicer when he got older.
I really don't like this cat anymore. Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, mine became more affectionate as he got older. He became more friendly.
Yeah, he's Woody's about he's 7 now. He's 7 now. We got him summer of 2015, like 8 weeks after he was born. Anyway, folks, we're going to start this out as we always do by thanking our patrons and our paid Substack subscribers. Thank you so much for making the show possible and allowing us to do as many streams as we're doing. Russell actually took a shift off work tomorrow to get some Do Dissidents work done. So that's where the Patreon money goes. That's how it happens, right? If we get enough coming in, we can afford to say, hey, you know what? Let me get out of a shift tomorrow so we can devote some more time to this project here. But we obviously have a pretty major story here that we have to get to. That I'm sure many of you know about already.
I'm honestly surprised that Elon released the Kraken. I thought he was going to hold it over their heads to get them to back off. But who knows what else he has in the closet? Like maybe this is a warning to them to leave him the fuck alone.
What Matt Taibbi released tonight was part of a series of stuff that he has. He's not done. He is done for this evening. So, as you guys know, by the way, this is a breaking story here. So we know this is potentially good for the stream. So please like the stream and subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe. Let's get some more people here in the stream. Let's juice the algo, as Obama would say. The Obama podcaster.
Yeah.
Got to milk that algorithm, folks. Please hit that like button and please share this stream.
First you subscribe to the stream, and then you get the woman. You get the woman, you get the power.
Right. Exactly. All right, everybody. So, Matt Taibbi posted earlier this evening just an epic, explosive Twitter thread. This is one of the most badass pieces of journalism of my lifetime. Really was. Dropping the Twitter files. You can file this with the Pentagon Papers. I mean, this is one for the ages. And, you know, going with the whole Marshall McLuhan medium is the message thing, to drop this as a Twitter thread as opposed to an article. It's just so epic.
Well, that's trolling. I mean, that's a troll.
Well, look, Musk presumably gave him these files, right?
I'm not saying he's trolling Musk.
No. But what I'm saying is, you know, the CEO of the site gave you the stuff, so it's only fair
Yeah.
you should put it up on his platform, right? I mean, you
And
should
and
give the
I
site the
love
traffic.
that he went to Taibbi. I love
Yeah,
that
he
he
went to
went to
Taibbi.
Taibbi, because if there's anyone out there who is the perfect reporter to cover this, it is Taibbi.
It
Like,
is
look,
absolutely.
Greenwald, in the end, his background is as a lawyer. He's more of an op-ed writer. Now, Taibbi injects a lot of opinion. He's coming out of the kind of Hunter Thompson Gonzo school, inherited his old job. But he's also a real nuts and bolts reporter who really believes in the art of reporting and the traditional expectations of a reporter to find the facts and follow the facts wherever they may lead. So really, he's the perfect combination of journalist as muckraker and crusader, and a serious reporter who has the reporting skills to really dig through all of these files and organize them into a story that's comprehensible to the public. I can't think of someone better to cover this.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right about that. As Sammy has just posted here, thank you, Sammy. Taibbi got about 240,000 followers today. That makes sense. The last I saw about a couple hours ago, it was at 863. Then I checked again. He was closing in on 1 million. I'm sure he's over 1 million by now. But this was really just an incredibly just coordinated drop where you had Elon sort of teasing this stuff out for the past few days. And then he teased it out today, saying it was going to drop at 5 Eastern, and then 5 Eastern rolled around and nothing happened, and people thought, what the hell is
Who
going
said
on
that?
here?
Elon or Taibbi?
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah,
Elon did?
yeah, yeah. Musk tweeted
Oh,
out earlier today that something was big was going to drop at 5 o'clock. Turns out it dropped at 7. So it was a couple hours late, but it certainly delivered. And, you know, for all of the criticisms of Elon Musk, and there are many, this alone, this alone makes it so worth it that he bought the company. I mean, if not for no other reason, this is a net positive right here, because as we're going to see, this is an absolute bombshell. And according to Taibbi, there's
in
more to
this,
come.
this I believe is a big part of why more insider libs freaked about Musk buying this, because they knew what he was going to get access to. And I'm
Right.
sure this isn't all of the embarrassing communiques he has access to.
Oh,
Like,
no.
wait until they really dig down into all of the communiques of Twitter over the years. God knows what he's going to find. Basically, this is their worst nightmare. They have a fucking billionaire that they can't control in charge of an archive that goes back over a decade of their inside communications with the company. It's really the worst nightmare of the establishment come to life.
Absolutely. And, you know, the fact that Musk went to Taibbi, I see people commenting on that in the chat here. You know, Taibbi is huge in our circles, right? Big picture, he's not a household name. They didn't give this to the New York Times. He didn't give this to the Washington Post. He didn't give this to any of the establishment outlets. He gave it to a Substacker, right? He gave it to a
Yep.
former
Yep.
Rolling Stone
Yep.
columnist turned Substacker.
Yep.
And that's who he trusted with this information. In the old days, this would have gone to the Post. This would have gone to the Times, right? This would have been a major, you know, front page spread in a physical newspaper. Instead, he gave it to one of us, basically. I mean, Taibbi is in our space. He's light years ahead of where we, Russell and I, are, but he's in this space. He's in this realm. And so this is a big day for independent media also, because you have the richest man in the world with a major bombshell story here, entrusting this information to a podcaster, to a Substacker, right? To a streamer.
Completely bypass legacy media.
Right. Completely bypass legacy media. Didn't give this to NBC. Didn't give it to CBS. Didn't give it to any of the major magazines or newspapers. Went to Matt Taibbi.
Well, why would they? So they could frame it as, well, is it really appropriate when someone buys a company to release this kind of confidential information? Why? Why?
Right. No, exactly.
They would be fucking breaking their vertebrae, bending over backwards to figure out a way to slant this against Musk.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. So, folks, what we're going to do is we are going to simply read through the Twitter files. We're going to read through the Taibbi thread. We don't imagine this will go that long, but there is quite a bit to get to. So we're going to start right now. We are working the night shift here, so the tip jar is open. Any super chats will be very, very helpful here. We are putting in some overtime, so we would love you for that. And of course, once again, the more people we get signed up, patreon.com/do dissidents, the more we can get in. I'm gonna give the more of these we can get in. I'm gonna give Robert Penner a shout out because I didn't have time to add you to the scroll since we literally just added this stream. We came up with the idea for this a half an hour ago and we scrambled to get this ready. But Robert is our latest patron sign up, so I want to give a shout out to Robert. Thank you so much for signing up.
All right, so I'm gonna combine two things here. I'm gonna read our resident wet blanket in an Australian accent because Virtue also asked if I could do one. According to my wife, I cannot do an Australian accent, but I think I can. Elon is the apartheid scumbag, anti-Semite scumbag who replatformed the Daily Stormer guy. Taibbi's thread is about the Hunter B. Nothing Burger. Your heroes are lacking. Yeah, I kind of went Cockney there towards the end. Yeah, it's not really about Hunter Biden. It's about the way they suppress the information. But hey, man, whatever narrative is going to allow you to get it up tonight.
We'll get to it. I mean, I was going to say something, but I shouldn't.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between me and you.
Yeah.
That's why I always say it's because of you that we haven't been kicked off YouTube.
Well, no, I wouldn't. It wasn't about him actually.
Was it about me?
No. It was actually about me.
Is there something on my nose?
No. It was about me.
All right.
It's about me.
Okay.
I choose not to share it.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. Let's go. Thread, the Twitter files. Number 1, we're going to go down this thread here. I have a backup thread open because one thing that Elon Musk has not fixed is this counterintuitive layout of this goddamn site. So I have 2 threads open here. I have a backup.
Oh, that's not just me. I thought it was just...
It's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. That's why I stayed on Facebook for so long.
It can be a little hard to follow.
I didn't switch to Twitter. I mean, I still haven't switched to Twitter. I'm still on Facebook. For the longest time, I was just reluctant to join Twitter because of the layout. It's just not intuitive. Like, it's not linear. It's a pain in the ass. I spent 20 minutes making sure I had these tweets all in a row. Why it can't be laid out that way, I don't understand. Anyway, thread, the Twitter files. What you're about to read is the first installment in a series based upon... You should do this whole thing in your Australian accent.
I'm gonna do this as Rod Serling. What you are about to read is the first installment in a series based upon thousands of internal documents obtained by sources at Twitter.
What would have made this night more epic is if Donald Trump returned to Twitter right after this dropped. You know, he just made his grand re-entrance. That would have been great.
Yeah.
The Twitter files tell an incredible story from inside one of the world's largest and most influential social media platforms. It is a Frankensteinian tale of a human-built mechanism grown out of control of its designer. Little typo there, but that's all right. He was going fast. The thing about dropping this as a Twitter series is you got to go fast. Like, he was dropping one of these every 3 minutes, and look, each one of them has tens of thousands of reactions and likes and shares. Just amazing.
Oh, this is epic.
It's epic. This was an epic thing. That's why we're on here.
This is some gangster shit, man.
Yeah, this is some gangster shit. Absolutely, almost as gangster as the 2 top Democrats being from New York. It's almost as gangster.
But nothing can really.
It's almost as gangster as Hakeem Jeffries being the Democratic Party leader. Yeah, a close second to that. Twitter, in its conception, was a brilliant tool for enabling instant mass communication, making a true real-time global conversation possible for the first time. In an early conception, Twitter more than lived up to its mission statement, giving people, quote, the power to create and share ideas and information instantly without barriers. As time progressed, however, the company was slowly forced to add those barriers. Some of the first tools for controlling speech were designed to combat the likes of spam and financial fraudsters. Slowly, over time, Twitter staff and executives began to find more and more uses for these tools. Outsiders began petitioning the company to manipulate speech as well. First a little, then more often, then constantly. All right, here we go. By 2020, requests from connected actors to delete tweets were routine. One executive would write to another, quote, more to review from the Biden team. The reply would come back, handled. Here is the screenshot of email communications, presumably once again sent to Taibbi by Elon Musk. I say presumably because it hasn't been officially confirmed, but Musk tweeted out this thread, so we pretty much know that this is from Elon himself. More to review from the Biden team. Look, just individual people's posts, links to posts. Twitter wrote back, handled these. These have been handled. These have been handled. The Biden team brought these to our attention. They've been handled. That thing. You know, I did the thing. That's what they would say. In North Jersey.
No.
You know that thing? Hey, you take care of that thing? Joey sent us that thing.
The thing. We took care of the thing.
You took care of the thing? Yeah, it's handled.
Yeah, it's handled. We handled it the right way. We did the right thing.
We did the right thing.
We did the right thing. So now you got to take care of us.
Right.
Don't call us before Congress. Don't regulate us.
Right.
Don't tax us.
Right. Exactly. Celebrities and unknowns alike could be removed or reviewed at the behest of a political party. I grabbed the first one under SI. Defer to safety on the high-profile second one. The high-profile second one is from real James Woods. Notorious conservative firebrand actor James Woods. See, now we ran into the bullshit.
And star of one of my favorite movies, Videodrome.
Yep. Star of Videodrome. See, look, we already ran into the bullshit where now all of a sudden we're getting comments. Now, why did we have the thread earlier and now we have comments?
Come on, Elon.
This is what I mean. Come on, Elon. Come on.
Clean that shit up.
Come on, man. We're doing our best for you here. We're doing our best. We're simping our best for you here. We're doing big time coddling, big time simping, big time standing here, and you can't get the fucking order right. What the hell was that? I had to go back. Now we're on again.
I got to say, since we're paused for a second, from the way
you can make an electric car, but you can't get the fucking posts to load in the right order.
Look, man, he's in the process of firing everybody and getting. Okay, I just want to say a couple of things about this quickly. I know people are dying to see how this continues, but look.
By the way, like the stream. We have a good crowd in here. Loud. Like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. If you're here for the first time, subscribe to the channel. You're going to love us. There's more of that hat. You know, Russell. I mean, come on. You got to subscribe to the channel with the hat, right? I mean,
this is better than anything that was in that Indiana Jones trailer. That's for sure. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Give me a fucking break. So anyway, that's my geek digression. All right, so you're having the media narrative around Musk taking over Twitter. It's very the walls are closing in. They're telling all of their brain dead consumers what they want to hear. Oh, Musk is in trouble. Musk is not in trouble. Musk said before he took over, he wanted to get rid of 75% of the workforce. And now he's done it. Through a process of firing some, pushing others out. You think when he wrote an email saying we have to have a hardcore work culture, otherwise you got to leave, he didn't know he was going to get rid of hundreds of people? Do you remember the letter that we chuckled over right on the eve of him taking over, where these idiots are making demands of a man who wants to fire 75% of the workforce, talking about what he must do, how they must be treated, and how the content of the site must be managed? That letter, we should do that again, because it's going to be even funnier the second time around after what's ensued over there. Then you're getting all of these people who are saying, oh, Elon Musk, he's really actually stupid, and people around him prop him up, and they've kept him going. And you're getting, bitter people who used to work for him saying, yeah, we all just used to manage Elon. And at Twitter, you're seeing what Elon is really about. Okay, listen, we're not Elon Musk fans, and we think that all of this should be regulated as a public utility. But what I'm really not a fan of is bullshit. Listen, are there rich people out there who have just been propped up by people around them and gotten very lucky? Sure. You can't get that fucking lucky. Okay, you cannot get that lucky. You're talking about a guy who started the first viable electric car company, started Solar City, which eventually got folded into Twitter. He's got SpaceX going pretty successfully. He's got Neuralink started up, which looks like it's going to go somewhere. Nobody's that lucky. Even if you believe that the people around him are really the people who are driving his success, well, that's management. That's picking good people. If the people around him are so good that all of his businesses have done this well, then that's good management. Even if you don't believe that he's a good engineer, right? Even if you believe he's like a Steve Jobs who's exploiting good engineers in order to, which I think actually is probably very likely. All of this not to celebrate Elon Musk, all of this to say it's exactly like what they did with Trump is going to be in jail next week, right? They're telling all their fucking brain dead liberal people that Twitter is going to collapse and it's going to be gone and Musk is in trouble. No, Musk walked into a woke company that hated him and created circumstances that would get rid of all of those people. What else could he couldn't work with those people, right? He had to get rid of them. Also, Twitter has been losing money for as long as it's existed. Twitter has never been able to make any money. So he needed to get rid of a mass number of people in order to bring the losses down. So my only point being, all of this media drum beating about how Twitter is going to collapse and it's going to be gone, it's the walls are closing in all over again. Twitter is not going anywhere. And from what I can see, there's a method to Musk's madness. And in the end, he's the world's richest man. He has enough money to keep it going until he can get it stabilized and worked out. In the meantime, what's going on over there is a purge. He's purging all of these woke people who hate him out of the company. And then he's going to rebuild it into something else. Is it going to be something great? Is it going to be something better? Who knows? I don't think it can be worse than what it was under the old regime. But all of this drum beating about how Twitter is going down, this is just the latest example of how the media is just telling their brain dead consumers exactly what they want to hear. Whether you like it, don't like it, like Musk, don't. I'm just talking on a factual basis. Twitter's not going anywhere. And to me, the greatest evidence for that is all these fucking dipshits like Rob Reiner complaining about Twitter. Where are they doing it?
Yeah, they're still on
Twitter. They're doing it on Twitter. So Twitter's not going anywhere.
Alex Meyer asks, never listened to Due Dissidents before. What's their deal? I'll tell you what our deal is. We do a great show. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and stick around. Stick around. Please, everybody.
Apparently,
hit that subscribe
sir,
button.
You are not familiar with the bathroom walls in Tijuana because they've written quite a lot about us there.
Yeah. We are big down there. Big down there. So, yeah, everybody, like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get an audience in here. And let's get back to the program, shall we? So, number 10, both parties had access to these tools, meaning contacting, the people who run the site and asking them for favors, right? Both parties had access to these tools. For instance, in 2020, requests from both the Trump White House and the Biden campaign were received and honored. However, this system wasn't balanced. It was based on contacts. Because Twitter was and is overwhelmingly staffed by people of one political orientation, he links to Open Secrets for a citation there, and I'll post the shot here in a moment. There were more channels, more ways to complain open to the left, well, Democrats, than the right. So here you have it right here. That's pretty lopsided, I would say. 2020, which is the cycle in question here, at least in the aspects that Taibbi is writing about, 98.47%
I don't know.
of donations from Twitter went to Democrats.
The Republicans started to make inroads there. That's their best year.
That was their 2018 was their best year. No, they didn't make inroads there. They lost. They
lost. Oh,
in 2018, 3.6% of employees donated to Republicans. In 2020, 1.53. So that's his point there, and I think that's a very, very strong one. The resulting slant in content moderation decisions is visible in the documents you're about to read. However, it's also the assessment of multiple current and former high-level executives. Then, for some reason, the thread gets interrupted. I don't know where numbers 13, 14, and 15 went. Instead, we have, okay, there was more throat clearing about the process, but screw it. Let's jump forward. All right, fair enough. We'll go with you. You're the boss, my friend. You're the man. Matt Taibbi is the man. He is now the man.
He is the man of the hour.
He's the man of the hour. This is your train. We're along for the ride.
Oh my God! The ick they are gonna try to throw on Matt Taibbi tomorrow.
All right, we're getting some subscribers in here now. I'm starting to see it on my phone here. I get real-time updates, so hit that subscribe button. I'm serious. Don't fuck with us. Don't be a free rider. You know what I mean? If you're gonna come and watch the show, hit the subscribe button. Worst happens, you don't like it, you unsubscribe in a couple weeks. Hit the subscribe button now. Stick around. You'll like it. Hit the button. I'm serious. Since I said that, no one's hit the button. I'm updating. Still nothing. Yeah. Still nothing. Hey, I'm fucking talking to you people. Hit the goddamn button.
Keaton is a cop on the edge who plays by his own rules.
I'm seeing right now. I can tell when somebody hits the button. So far, nobody since I said that. All right. Fair enough. Fine. Can't do anything about it. Whatever. Be that way. You know what? We should just stop the show now. Let's stop. Let's quit. I'm joking, of course. Number 6. See, I told you. We have a good sense of humor on this show. That's why you should hit the goddamn subscribe button. On October 14th, 2020, the New York Post published Biden's secret emails, an expose based on the contents of Hunter Biden's abandoned laptop. We all remember that headline there. Smoking gun email reveals how Hunter Biden introduced blah, blah, blah. Right? Introduced his father, then Vice President Joe Biden, to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm. This seems, well, like I said, we're not going to go down this rabbit hole and click this because we have a whole thread to do. But in 2022, given the events of the world, don't you think that headline is alarming? Like that seems to be like that's a real important story, is it not? Is it not?
I would
extraordinary.
Think so. I would think so.
Oh, it was standard grift, right? Isn't that was Bill Maher's quote? Oh, standard grift, you know.
Russian disinformation. What were they telling us? 20 former heads of agencies, right? All of
said this looks like a Russian op. Yeah, right. Whatever.
Oh, it's a Russian op.
No, Big Mad Crab, you should not unsubscribe and subscribe again. That will not work. That will not work. Nice try though. Ah, there we go. All right, we had 5 more people hit the button. There you go. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. Now it's starting to work.
Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. By the way, like I said, tip jars are out as well. All right, we're on here. It's 10:15. You know, Ryan Wood said he couldn't join because this is a family movie night. This was supposed to be a family night for me too. I did a few family activities, but you know, I had to change my plans for this. So you know, obviously, tip jar is open. You know, it's open. All right, but more importantly, hit that subscribe button. All righty. Number 18. Twitter took extraordinary steps to suppress the story, removing links and posting warnings that it may be unsafe. They even this is where it gets really juicy. They even blocked its transmission via direct message, a tool hitherto reserved for extreme cases. I'm not even going to say those words. You can all read them on the screen.
Yes.
You risk shit happening to you when you even say that.
E.g., fans of the playground.
Right, exactly.
With credit to Sidney Watson.
Exactly. All right. So that is the category in which they lumped this story. I mean, this is where, like I said, it gets really insane. 19. White House spokeswoman Kayleigh McEnany, she took over for Sarah Huckabee Sanders, was locked out of her account for tweeting about the story. So she tweeted about the story. She was locked out of her account, prompting a furious letter.
White House spokeswoman.
Yeah. In a campaign 2 weeks before the presidential campaign, 2 weeks before the election. The campaign spokeswoman, the press secretary, was locked out of her Twitter account, was cut off from communicating to the public 2 weeks before the election. You know what this sounds like to me? Collusion. Sounds like collusion.
See, they were just looking in the wrong direction. They needed to look at Silicon Valley to find that collusion.
Exactly. All right. Now we got the real fella showing up. Tom, thank you so much. Tom, I appreciate you being here and appreciate the $5.
We're gonna make a nice matzo ball soup.
You guys are great. Way better than NPR. Yes, we know. Thank you very much. And thank you for the $2.
That is damning with faint praise, my friend.
Exactly. All right, let's take a look at this email here. All right. From Mike Hahn at DonaldTrump.com. Urgent, Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh McEnany has been locked out from her account for simply talking about the New York Post story. All she did was cite the story in firsthand reporting that has been reported by other outlets and not disputed by the Biden campaign. I need an answer immediately on when and how she will be unlocked. I also don't appreciate how nobody on that's a hell of a way to spell appreciate for a professional campaign person.
Apprecate. Why don't you read it phonetically? I also don't apprecate.
I mean, that doesn't even look like a typo. That just looks like a guy who does not know how to spell appreciate. I also don't apprecate how nobody on this team called me regarding the news that you'll be censoring news articles. Like I said, at least pretend to care for the next 20 days. Number 20. This led public policy executive Carolyn Strom to send out a polite WTF query. I love how Taibbi still uses that sort of informal, humorous lingo, even though he knows it's going to be a huge thing. A polite WTF query. That's a very Taibbi thing to say. That's his style.
Voice.
That's his horse. He rides it.
Yeah.
Several employees noted that there was tension between the comms and policy teams. Who had little less control over moderation and the safety/trust teams. Pardon me. Hi, team. Are you able to take a closer look here? Thank you. All right. Number 21. Strom's note returned the answer, excuse me, that the laptop story had been removed for violation of the company's hacked materials policy. Okay, so now they actually gave a justification, right? Now, they had to dig to get this justification, and this is something that we say about these tech companies all the time, right? They will throttle you and not really tell you why. They won't tell you why. Now, only the high-level people have contacts to human beings where they will actually know why they were throttled, why they were blocked, why they were banned. So in this case, they're saying it's because of the hacked materials policy. Hi, Carolyn. Thanks for reaching out to us. Per checking, the user was bounced by site integrity. I mean, talk about 1984, right?
Yeah.
The user was bounced by site integrity for violating...
By the Ministry of Site Integrity.
Right, exactly. By the Ministry of Site Integrity for violating our hacked materials policy. Adding them here for further insights and guidance. Thanks, Elaine Ong Soto. Okay, so they were blocking this under the assumption that it was hacked with zero evidence whatsoever.
I forgot about that. Until I read this, I forgot that they came up with a cover story. Now I remember, they had that cover story that it was a hacked materials policy, and it was such transparent bullshit. Like, it was such a transparent effort to just find some justification for blocking what was clearly a legitimate news story.
Yeah. Right. That was what they used. Hacked materials policy.
Yep.
Although several sources recalled hearing about a general warning from federal law enforcement that summer about possible foreign hacks, about possible foreign hacks, there's no evidence that I've seen of any government involvement in the laptop story. In fact, that might have been the problem. ... Number 23. The decision was made at the highest levels of the company, but without the knowledge of CEO Jack Dorsey, with the former head of legal policy and trust, Vijaya Gotti, I hope I'm saying his name right, playing a key role.
That was one of the first people Musk whacked.
Yeah.
He whacked him like when he walked in the door. Yeah.
Fired him.
Yeah,
fired him. Not technically.
Yeah.
Not legally speaking. They just freelanced it, is how one former employee characterized the decision. Quote, hacking was the excuse, but within a few hours, pretty much everyone realized that wasn't going to hold, but no one had the guts to reverse it. Again, that's a quote. That's a direct quote. You can see the confusion in the following lengthy exchange, which ends up including Gaddy and former Trust and Safety Chief Yoel Roth. Comms official Trenton Kennedy writes, quote, I'm struggling to understand the policy basis for marking this as unsafe.
Which I found this interesting, that there are some honest actors there who are asking questions.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, it doesn't
like there are some people trying to do the right thing in this thread.
There are some, I wouldn't go as far as to say they're trying. I would go as far as to say like they're curious about why this is happening. And they got to find out what's going on. At the end of the day, it's not that everyone in the organization has ill intent. It's that the organization becomes its own entity. It becomes its own animal. This is why Matt Taibbi called it a Frankensteinian monster, because at a certain point, the thing itself, the institution, whether it's a political party or a corporation or anything, the institution has a life of its own, and everyone in it exists to serve it. And if going out on a limb and doing the right thing doesn't serve it, at the end of the day, they don't do it. Doesn't mean no one asks questions along the way and says, wait, this can't be right. No, they do. They do. But it's just once a thing gathers enough momentum, it's unstoppable.
You can't stop it.
25. You can see the confusion. Oh, sorry, I read that. But I did want to repeat this sentence here because this is astounding. Comms official Trenton Kennedy writes, I'm struggling to understand the policy basis for marking this as unsafe. I'm going to read this shot in a second, but what we have here is we have multiple smoking guns here that prove beyond any doubt whatsoever that higher-ups at Twitter knew there was no justification to spike this laptop story. That's the big headline here. If this were in the New York Times, if this were entrusted to a major, if this were going to be a front page story, that would be the headline. Smoking gun evidence that the people behind the scenes knew this was bullshit pretty much from minute one. All right, let's take a look here. All right. Pardon me. Trenton writes, I'm struggling to understand the policy basis for marking this as unsafe, and I think the best explainability argument for this externally would be that we're waiting to understand if the story is the result of hacked materials. Well, I mean, again, this is why we're live. This is why this is such a bombshell. We'll face hard questions on this if we don't have some kind of solid reasoning for marking the link unsafe. So let me just translate that for people who maybe have not exchanged emails with corporate tools like this in the past. I'm struggling to understand the policy basis for marking this as unsafe. The best explainability argument, blah, blah, blah. What this means is we're doing this for no reason. We need to come up with a cover our ass story, right? We need to buy ourselves time. And buy ourselves time is, well, we're waiting to understand if this story is the result of hacked. What? What? We're waiting to understand. So while you're waiting to understand, you kill a story?
Right.
Because you're waiting to understand something?
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's guilty until proven innocent.
Exactly. You don't just assume that something is fake until it's proven not to be in this realm. I mean, look, the New York Post is not the National Enquirer. This is not Bat Boy, right? I mean, this is a reality-based story by an outlet that is ultimately a reputable outlet. Now, the New York Post makes most of its money buying, photos from the fucking, paparazzi and posting pictures of actors, eating lunch. I'm putting them on page 6, right?
Page
It's
6,
a tabloid. Yeah. It's a rag. I'm not saying it's this esteemed outlet, but it is a credible established newspaper.
So's the Washington Post is a rag too.
Well, right.
New York Times a rag too. They're all fucking rags.
Right.
It's a rag among rags.
Exactly. A rag among rags. Katie Rossborough, will we also mark similar stories as unsafe? And then she links to the Fox News article. So that's interesting. So she's saying, hey, if Fox is reporting on this now, if they pick this up, are we going to mark that unsafe as well? Next. By this point, quote, everyone knew this was fucked, said one former employee, but the response was essentially to err on the side of ... continuing to err. Yoel Roth. The policy basis is hacked materials, though as discussed, this is an emerging situation where the facts remain unclear. Given the severe risks here and the lessons of 2016, unbelievable. We are erring on the side of including a warning and preventing this content from being amplified. Again.
Yes.
I mean, given the lessons of 2016, the lessons of 2016 when the Trump campaign was falsely and baselessly accused by media goons of conspiring with the Russians in some sinister plot to hack the election.
Well, there's so
what are you talking like?
I got to listen to the first few minutes of Taibbi. He does a weekly America This Week with Frank Kern, David Kern. I forget what his name is. And they were talking about this, and actually their reading of that was not that. It was the DNC emails. So right. Basically their take was that the DNC emails should not have been publicized because they were hacked, even though they were real.
Right.
What the fuck is that? What is that? I mean, by this logic, you would have suppressed the Pentagon Papers.
Exactly.
That was hacking of its day. Right?
You would not be. I mean, journalism would not exist under that logic. There would be no such thing.
Right. How could you do journalism? Which is exactly the world that they're bringing us towards.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. That's why this is such a bombshell. I mean, this is just anti-democratic. Anti-democratic, 100%. Like this stream, everybody, and subscribe to this channel. We have a very big audience in here, as I knew we would. Please subscribe to this channel. You guys followed my lead a while ago. Got a couple more here. I'm updating on my phone as we go. So thank you guys very much. Please hit that like button to get this stream out there. We are reading through point by point Twitter files.
If we hit 4,000 subscribers, I'm going to do my Fauci dance of the 7 masks for you.
Exactly. There we go. All right. We got a couple more. Couple of you guys listen to what I just said. Thank you very much. Listen, you got nothing to lose by hitting the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Stick around for a couple weeks. You don't like the channel,
accept your security clearance.
Right. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, that. If you have, but I don't think anybody who's watching has that. But yeah, so hit that button, everybody.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I heard Union Joe is a fan.
Yeah, right. What is the warning that will come up? He asks. When you click the link, you'll see the generic unsafe URL message. References spam, malware, and violations of the Twitter rules. Not ideal, but it's the only thing we have. Not ideal, but it's the only thing we have. What that means is it's bullshit. We're just going to lie to people. We're just going to lie and say that this is an unsafe link. This is an unsafe URL message.
It's spam
malware. Malware. It's from nypost.com. It's from the New York Post.
Amazing.
We're gonna label it malware. It's not ideal, but it's all we have because the lessons of 2016 are that we can't allow Trump to win. That's what it is. That's the lesson of 2016. The lesson of 2016 is not that we have to protect against Russian interference. The lesson of 2016 in these people's minds is we have to stop this guy from winning. We cannot allow this to happen again. That was the lesson.
Of course, I believe in democracy. We just need a proper public to vote.
Right, exactly. Right. We can't have people getting the wrong ideas 2 weeks before the vote. There's a vote coming up. Yep. All right. Ian Plunkett.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. I can't see that now. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Ian Plunkett says, whatever we do in the comms, this will become a bias claim for Jack pre-hearing immediately. So I guess he's talking about Jack Dorsey there. Let's make it clear we're proactively but cautiously interpreting this through the lens of our hacked materials policy and allowing the link with a warning and significant reduction of spread. So this guy is basically, once again, tacitly admitting that there is no legitimate basis to throttle this link. He's just saying, like, look, okay, whatever we do in the comms, this will become a bias. Like, we will get heat for this. So let's kind of go halfway here. Let's not throttle it completely because it will draw too much heat, but let's cautiously interpret this. Cautiously interpret it through the lens of our hacked materials policy and allow the link with a warning and significant reduction of spread. So basically, treat this as
what this really calls for is a total paradigm shift within the organization. You know, it's just corporate speak.
Right.
It's a lot of cover our ass corporate speak.
Former VP of Global Comms Brandon Borman asks, can we truthfully claim that this is part of the policy? Look at how many people knew this was bullshit and were making that opinion known.
Well, that's what surprises me, that so many people made that opinion known.
Right. Everybody's like, wait a minute.
Concerned about that.
This is like that clip. Wait, are we the baddies? Right? The World War II sketch.
Are we the bad guys?
Wait, are we the baddies? Are we the baddies? I think we're the baddies. To Ian's point, can we truthfully claim that this is part of the policy? i.e., as part of our approach to addressing potentially hacked materials, we are limiting visibility of related stories on Twitter while our investigation is ongoing. Now, keep in mind,
not only the story, related stories.
Related stories while the investigation is ongoing. Now, keep in mind, this is all extremely
And how are they going to investigate? How are they going to? Do you have access to the laptop? I mean, all that can mean is what their contacts in Washington tell them to believe. What else can that mean? What investigation? How are you investigating? You have no direct access to the laptop. So what kind of investigation can you possibly conduct?
But think about this. This is happening a couple weeks before Election Day.
Right.
So this is extremely time sensitive. This isn't like, oh, let's find out if Ted Williams' head is still frozen all the way, right? We'll have to look into that. And we'll let the public know in a few months when it'll be just as important then as it is now. No, this is like an October surprise. This is specific. Like this we have to know now whether this is for real or not. And there's an ongoing investigation. We'll get back to you. We'll get back to you after the vote when it won't matter.
Well, and then, something like this comes out, which was obvious. I mean, this is just confirming what everybody knew. And then they're going to say, well, why don't people trust institutions? Why don't people trust the media? Why don't people trust authority? Well, here you go. Why would they?
Of course. To which, okay, so this is in response. Sorry, I didn't mean to lose the thread here. Okay, so we read this point here. To Ian's point, can we truthfully claim that this is part of the policy? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, our investigation is ongoing. All right, to which former deputy counsel Jim Baker, again, seems to advise staying the non-course because caution is warranted. Jim Baker: I support the conclusion that we need more facts to assess whether the materials were hacked. At this stage, however, it is reasonable for us to assume that they may have been. Look at all of the different qualifiers in that sentence. Reasonable for us to assume that they may have been, and that caution is warranted. There are some facts that indicate that the materials may have been hacked. Like what? Like
None.
what? None.
None.
Zero.
None. You have a bunch of professional liars coming out of the security state, giving them that cover, saying, "Oh, it has all the
Oh, it has
hallmarks
all
of a
the
Russian,
all the earmarks of
Russian
blah,
disinformation campaign." That's what they're talking about. What else could they be talking about?
Right. Right. There are some facts that indicate that the materials may have been hacked, while there are others indicating that the computer was either abandoned and or the owner consented to allow the repair shop to access it for at least some purposes. We simply need more information.
And
Now,
it's going to
think of
take at
which-
least until after the election
Right.
for us to get all that.
It's going to take at least, what is it, October 25th? It's going to take at least, what is it, 9 days to figure this out, right? Right? They're just counting on their fingers.
9, maybe 10.
Right. Which of these two possible scenarios seems more likely here? There are some facts on the one hand that indicate that the materials may have been hacked, while there are others indicating that the computer was either abandoned and or the owner consented to allow the repair shop access. In other words, like, what is the challenge in weighing these two?
What are the odds that a
Like-
crackhead dropped off his laptop at a repair shop and forgot about it?
Right.
What are the odds?
Exactly.
How could
Well,
that possibly happen?
if there are facts indicating that the computer was abandoned at the repair shop, right? If there are facts that indicate that, then what facts could possibly indicate that it was hacked? Because if you have evidence that he left it at a repair shop, then it seems obvious
Then
that it
but
was at the
by
repair shop and
definition,
that
it
it's
could
real.
not have been hacked.
Right?
Right.
Like there's no way you could say, well, yeah, there's on one hand, we think it's true that it was at the repair shop. What, did he leave it at fucking Ivan Romanov's laptop repair? Like, is that your theory? That the laptop repair man was in on it? Like, what are you talking about?
Moose and squirrel repair shop.
Yeah, moose and squirrel repair shop. Exactly. Like, is that the theory? Like it makes no sense. If there's evidence that he left it at the repair shop, then what evidence can you possibly have that it was hacked? If there's no evidence it was at a repair shop, then I could see, okay, maybe something is up here, right? Oh, we don't know that it was left at a repair shop. There's no evidence to corroborate that. The post is simply saying that, right? But no, if they're saying, hey, there is evidence to suggest he actually did drop it off to be repaired, which, by the way, this is very, very boomer shit here on Hunter Biden's part. You got to deal with the Ukrainian government that implicates your father, the vice president. If your laptop is overheating, put the shit on a hard drive, get yourself a new laptop, bro. Like, what the fuck you taking it to a repair shop for? Who takes our computer to be repaired anymore? That's like, you know, I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, well, he's not functioning on all thrusters there. Here we go. We have an explanation here.
It keeps freezing.
Hunter probably wanted it fixed so he could go pawn it for crack.
You're right.
Maybe.
Oh God.
I think that's a working theory. You should tweet that at Taibbi.
You should tweet that. That makes sense.
I like that. Hashtag not all crackheads lose laptops. defending the crackhead community there. Nice work, Robert.
Excellent. Everybody needs a rep, right? A fundamental problem with tech companies and content moderation, many people in charge of speech know or care little about speech and have to be told the basics by outsiders. To wit, all right, here we go. In one humorous exchange on day one, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna reaches out to Gad to gently suggest she hop on the phone to talk about the backlash RE speech. Khanna was the only Democratic official I could find in the files who expressed concern. Generating huge backlash on the Hill, re speech. Happy to chat if you're up for it. Best Ro.
And look, credit where credit is due. You know, Khanna definitely bends the knee when they put enough pressure on him. It is impressive here to actually see that he raised these questions 2 weeks before an election. I was honestly pretty surprised.
I was too. Like and subscribe, everybody. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button while you're here. What do you have to lose, right? What do you got to lose? Just hit the subscribe button. Right?
Except your immortal soul.
We do a good show.
That's how we do it.
Hit the subscribe button and come back and watch.
Signing in blood is antiquated.
We have a great community here. And you all should join it. If you're stumbled upon this stream, we encourage you, please hit that subscribe button and hit this like button. How many likes are we at, Russell? Can you see? I can't see that on my end. I don't know. How many likes are we at? Somebody posted in the chat.
Likes?
Whatever we're at, hit more likes. We need more likes in here. All right? Let's make this happen. All right, here we go. Gad replies quickly, immediately diving into the weeds of Twitter policy, unaware Kana is more worried about the Bill of Rights. See, this is great. This is great. This is one of my favorite exhibits. Hi, Congressman Kana. Thank you for reaching out, and we appreciate the heads up. We put out a clarifying thread of tweets earlier this evening to explain our policy around the posting of private information and linking directly to hacked materials. The press secretary's account was not permanently suspended. We requested that she delete the tweet containing material that is in violation of our rules, and her account is restricted until she complies. What do they want the Trump campaign spokeswoman to be tweeting out 2 weeks before the election? Fucking what, cat videos? Like, this is what she needs to be able to say what she's got to say. I'd be happy to jump on the phone if helpful. My team in D.C. are copied here and also available to discuss. Like, Ro Khanna, a government official, emails them, say, hey, we have this thing called the Bill of Rights. There's a thing called the First Amendment. This really, generously speaking, comes right up to the border of violating that. Can you, like, what is our plan to deal with that? Well, here at Twitter, our company policy prohibits the, like, it just completely, like, that
allow us, please, to refer you to our link on hacked materials.
Right.
We have a white paper to refer you to, sir.
Right. We have a cartoon man in a light blue sweater and dark blue jeans who will explain to you in this graphic our rules.
Follow
about
the blue bird.
Right. Like, follow the blue bird. Follow the blue bird. All right. So there you go. All right. So now we ran into the same issue again. All right. Gad replies quickly. All right. Here we go. Kana tries to reroute the conversation into the First Amendment, mention of which is generally hard to find in the files. Like I said, by the way, just slight game break here. Matt Taibbi apparently has a lot more. A lot more. This is only the beginning.
Well, you could see the way that he set it up at the beginning.
Part one.
That was how he framed it, that this is part of a very large file that he has access to now.
Right. So this is going to be going on for probably days, right? There will probably
I would say weeks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, well, it'll be in the news for weeks.
In terms of like all the stories he's going to be.
Oh, in terms of everything at once? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get a word count on this tweet thread at some point. But the other great thing about dropping this on Twitter is that he can post these shots, these images. You know,
right.
It's awesome.
Right.
We can actually read the actual screenshot.
Well, and he's reaching a much wider audience than you could reach with articles.
And he's reaching an audience that is, of course, very interested because they're on Twitter.
They're on Twitter, right?
They're on the Musk version of this site, right? Okay, so
he's making Alyssa Milano cry right now.
Yeah, well, she's too stupid to understand.
Probably
she doesn't know. She's trying to get her Volkswagen electric vehicle, her non-hateful, non-white supremacist Volkswagen.
She's like, God damn it! Someone get me a Ford.
You're right, exactly right.
What do you mean Henry Ford was a Nazi?
What do you mean? Are there any cars that woke people can drive? Is there any cars
that are not connected to Nazis? And
is there a car that a virtue signaling white rich liberal like me can drive? Is there anything out here for me?
For anyone who doesn't know, Henry Ford used to distribute the Protocols of the Elders of Zion to his dealerships.
Oh yeah. He was a big.
Yeah.
You'll see Kanye.
He was not a fan of the. He was not a fan of the people.
Right. Yeah. Ro Khanna to Vijaya Gad. I've probably mispronounced that guy's name 5 different ways, but I figure one of them has to be right? Hope you're well.
Oh, it's a woman. It's a woman apparently.
Oh, this woman's name. Okay. Hope you're well, Vijaya. I'm sorry, Vijaya. But this seems a violation of the First Amendment. We've got to do a little potty humor, right? Hit the subscribe button, everybody. hit the button. Don't fuck with us. If there is a hack of classified information or other information that could expose a serious war crime and the New York Times was to publish it, see, here we go. I think the New York Times should have that right. Yeah, no shit. No shit. That's called journalism. That's what journalism is. He makes this point. A journalist should not be held accountable for the illegal actions of the source. This is just basic constitutional law here. Unless they actively aided the hack. So to restrict the distribution of that material, especially regarding a presidential candidate, seems not in the keeping of the principles of New York Times v. Sullivan. I say this as a total Biden partisan and convinced he didn't do anything wrong. All right, well, there you go. Now he's showed your ass in another way there. But the story now has become more about censorship than relatively innocuous emails, and it's become a bigger deal than it would have been. It also is now leading to serious efforts to curtail Section 230, many of which would have been a mistake. Is it 230 or 238? Maybe it's 230. I believe Twitter itself should curtail what it recommends or puts in trending news, and your policy against QAnon groups is all good. It's a hard balance. All right. Well, I mean, I don't really agree with that. But in the heat of a presidential campaign, restricting dissemination of newspaper articles, even if New York Post is far right, seems like it will invite more backlash than it will do good. All right, so I can grant him that. The real fringe shit, if it's not published in a paper, you could say, okay, there is some basis to say, okay, this is totally unfounded junk. Even then, I don't think it should be banned or anything. But the point here is that this is a newspaper article by a fairly reputable outlet, even if the New York Post is far right, which we got into. Yes, it's a rag. The Washington Post is a rag. Seems like it will invite more backlash than it will do good. Please keep this communication. Sorry, let me just read the end of the sentence. Please keep this communication between just us and Jack, and no need to CC the team or forward to them. Just wanted to offer my 2 cents. Please don't forward this to Jimmy Dore, because I say in here that I'm a Biden partisan. So please don't forward it to Please do. Please do not forward this to the Jimmy Dore show.
All right.
Sorry, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Red hooked us up.
Red, thank
Milano,
you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you. Don't hold signs. I guess this has something to do with some kind of internal communique going on among the kids here. Yeah, so Ro Khanna here comes off like Don Corleone. Our friends in politics might not be our friends for long if they find out our business is drugs and not gambling and prostitution, which they consider harmless vices. You know, he's behind the scenes there saying, listen, if people find out that we're censoring newspaper articles, you know, the backlash is going to be so enormous. It's probably really not worth it. And now we're here. They didn't listen to him. And what kind of damage is this going to do to Washington, to the establishment, to the people who made these decisions? This is going to follow them around for the rest of their lives.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Within a day, head of public policy Lauren Culbertson receives a ghastly letter report from Carl Szabo of the research firm NetChoice, which had already pulled 12 members of Congress, 9 Republicans and 3 Democrats, from the House Judiciary Committee to Representative Judy Chu's office. Lauren, yesterday NetChoice's Chris Marchese met informally with 9 Republican and 3 Democratic House staffers to gather intel about Facebook and Twitter and the New York Post's story. The staffers hail from the House Judiciary Committee.
It's not up on the screen,
Judy
man.
Chu's
we're not seeing.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. My fault. Like I said, folks, it's getting late. Getting a little sloppy. I apologize about that. All right. So he basically here, within a day, head of public policy Lauren Culbertson receives a ghastly letter from Carl Szabo of the research firm NetChoice, which had already pulled 12 members of Congress, 9 Rs and 3 Ds, from the House Judiciary Committee to Republican Judy Chu's office. This email here, this image just shows basically what he just said. Right there, you can read that very, very quickly. It says the exact same thing that he basically mentioned in that tweet. All right, let's go back to the master thread here. We're coming down the home stretch here, folks. Thank you for sticking around. Please like this stream and please subscribe to this channel. Net Choice lets Twitter know about a bloodbath. Know that a bloodbath awaits in upcoming Hill hearings, with members saying it's a, quote, tipping point, complaining tech has grown so big that they can't even regulate themselves, so government may need to intervene. High-level takeaway, every Republican said this is a tipping point, it's just too much, and both Democrats and the Republicans were angry. 35. Szabo reports to Twitter that some Hill figures are characterizing the laptop story as Tech's Access Hollywood moment. When asked just how bad this situation is, one staffer said, it's Tech's Access Hollywood moment and it has no Hillary to hide behind. Others were more blunt. Tech is screwed, and rightfully so. What they mean by Access Hollywood moment is the Trump grab him by the pussy
Right.
tape, where they catch you on a hot mic saying something that you would never, ever, ever want anyone to hear you say out in the open.
Right.
All right, so let's keep reading here. All right, this is almost the end here. Twitter files continued. The First Amendment isn't absolute. Szabo's letter contains chilling passages relaying Democratic lawmakers' attitudes. They want more moderation, and as for the Bill of Rights, it's not absolute. All right, so
Wow.
far. All right, now we will read that in a moment, but I feel like we should take a slight pause here because so far, most of the bombshell reporting has implicated Twitter itself and the people who work inside. Now you're going to see what the people in the actual halls of power on Capitol Hill think about the First Amendment. The Democrats, meanwhile, complain that the companies are inept. Look at this. They let conservatives muddy the...
Yeah, they didn't do an efficient cover-up.
Right. They didn't do an efficient cover-up. They let conservatives muddy the... No, but this says they're inept in that they don't regulate content enough. They're not even referencing the cover-up here in this first sentence. They let conservatives muddy the water and make the Biden campaign look corrupt, even though Biden is innocent. Right? I mean, this is just... It's extraordinary, you know, how that is just written as fact here. Now, we understand that this is a memo, right? But look at the attitude. You can tell the subservience of these people to one party by just from the writing. They let conservatives muddy the water and make the Biden campaign look corrupt, even though Biden is innocent. Even though Biden is innocent. The phrasing of this, even as an internal memo, assumes that Biden is innocent, right? I mean, it does. That's what they wrote here, right? They linked this to Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Once again, she did nothing wrong, but because the press wouldn't let the story
How do you
go,
know that?
It became.
How do you know that? We don't know because we don't have those emails.
Well, first of all, we do know for a fact that she did do something wrong by creating a private server. I mean, that was the wrong thing to do. James Comey said that
those emails were
himself.
under subpoena at the time that she deleted them.
Right, exactly. And she deleted them. So setting up the private server was something wrong that she did. Comey said that. That's not just us saying that. Comey said that. And she destroyed emails after they were
under subpoena.
Right?
They were under subpoena.
Sorry, I just lost my place here. Okay.
You know, I always said to the Hillbots, she's either this brilliant woman who's the most qualified woman ever or qualified person ever to run for the White House, or she's a blathering idiot who couldn't figure out that you can't delete emails that are under subpoena. She can't be both.
Right. Well, that's why Comey's decision not to indict her just made no sense, because he said any reasonable person should have known this was a violation of statute. Well, if Hillary Clinton is not a reasonable person, then who is? Like, if the Secretary of State, former senator, former first lady, is not a reasonable person or is not in position to understand that this was against the law, who would be? Like, who could you prosecute for that?
They were afraid they that they'd use the he came, he saw, he died clip as evidence that she's not a reasonable person in her right mind.
Well, she certainly knew enough to know that she shouldn't have done that, and that's why that made no sense. She did nothing wrong, but because the press wouldn't let the story go, it became a scandal far out of proportion. In their mind, social media is doing the same thing. It doesn't moderate enough harmful content, so when it does, like it did yesterday, it becomes a story.
If only they censored more,
if they censored,
people wouldn't notice when they censor.
Exactly.
Wow.
If they censored more, then we would get away with censoring this because people wouldn't notice that we censored this because we censor all the time. So why don't we just censor every negative story about our party? Like, why are you allowed to say anything bad about Joe Biden or anything bad about Obama or anything, just
if you drown people in enough shit, they're not going to complain about any individual turd.
Right. Exactly. If the companies moderated more, conservatives wouldn't even think to use social media for disinformation, misinformation, or otherwise.
You mean to express their opinions?
Right. Exactly. Look at how extraordinary that statement is. Wow. If the companies moderated more, conservatives wouldn't even think to use social media. I'm not even going to read the rest of that because the sentence ends right there. That's where the sentence really ends. Right. Because what they really say is, if we basically communicate, if we
label everything conservatives believe as disinformation,
if we communicated to conservatives that they're not welcome on these platforms and that anything they post is going to be taken down, then they won't come here anymore. Right. Like that. I mean, could you believe these are the anti-fascists, by the way? I want everybody to be mindful of that. These are the people who are fighting fascism. These are the people who are protecting democracy against fascism. Fascism, by the way, is the partnering.
We're lucky to have them.
Fascism is defined, by the way, as the partnering of corporate and state power to impose the will of corporations and the state. That is precisely what this is.
We are over 400, Robert. Come on, man. We expect better from you.
Over 400. We just got over 400. Well, we're probably just under 400 on YouTube. Robert's on YouTube. Our number in the corner here is all the platforms. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, so like that. But help us get to 400 on YouTube. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We got a bunch of people subscribing now. I like what I'm seeing. But if you're still here, hit the subscribe button. You got nothing to lose by subscribing. If you subscribe and in a couple weeks you don't like the show, unsubscribe. Right?
Everyone who subscribes is a potential winner.
Yeah, right. You'll win Russell's hat. Russell will be mailing his hat to our 500th subscriber of the night. Congratulations, you're subscriber number 500 of the evening.
Oh, now they're going to sign up.
Now they're going to sign up. Well, we just got one because of that. All right, so we just added one. Let's see how more we can add. Oh, we just added 4 more. I like that. See, the word is getting out. Hit the subscribe button.
This one's for Virtuosa.
Come on, let's go.
That's not a podcast. This is a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. The Democrats were in agreement. Social media needs to moderate more because they're corrupting democracy and making all truth relative. When pushed on how the government might insist on that, consistent with the First Amendment, they demurred. The First Amendment isn't absolute. The First Amendment is absolute in this sense. That case, New York Times v. Sullivan, that was in 1964, establishing the press's right, their constitutional right, to print junk information if it cannot be proven that they intentionally did so, right? With malice, right? So this idea, the First Amendment isn't absolute. The First Amendment protects an outlet's right to get a story massively wrong. For example, every media outlet covering Russiagate for 3 years. Like, they can't be sued for that, right? Because they cannot establish proven malice in doing that. So so the First Amendment doesn't cover people posting wrong information on social media, but the First Amendment does protect outlets who print wrong information as long as no malice
Right.
can be
As long as there's no
established.
malice. Right.
How do you referee that? You can only referee that
Right.
if we are to take this seriously. The Democrats are the referees of that, right? Like,
Right.
so.
Right.
Well, I mean, what this
Well,
is saying.
this is
Go ahead.
this is where we come back to over and over again. It's very simple. Who watches the Watchmen? Whenever people keep saying, well, we need this moderation, okay, by who? By who? You tell me who should be deciding what people can and can't say. You tell me who in this society, who in the establishment you trust with that power. Because we just ran this experiment, and this is it. This is the autopsy of what moderation by elites looks like.
Right.
They're not going to block misinformation. They're going to block misinformation that is not favorable to their narrative, that does not support their narrative. They're going to push their own misinformation, like that laptop was a Russian disinformation campaign. That is disinformation. They fed you disinformation. You allow them to moderate speech, and the only speech you're going to have is the speech they favor. You're not going to get rid of untruth. You're just going to get their untruths.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was very, very well said. But what that email that we just read there, that message that we just read there, what that says is that the Democrats want to referee where there is malice and when there is not. Because the First Amendment, whether you think it's absolute or not, the First Amendment protects outlets who get things wrong. So then you have to wonder, are they getting it wrong on purpose or are they not? Right? And if the Democrats are the ones who get to dictate to these social media companies who means well and who doesn't, it's not just about what the information is. Exactly. They're saying they are the sole arbiters of intent. They get to say who is a good actor and who is not. Now,
well, what if we lived in a bizarro world where the Washington Post would have printed that story? Would that have gotten pulled from Twitter?
Right. Exactly. Right.
So they're going to decide it's just going to be what it is now. It's very cliquey. You're in or you're out. You're with us or you're against us, and that's it's not in any. We've seen how this plays out. It's not based on whether or not it's true. It's based on whether or not they want it to be true.
Exactly. This is a perfect example of that. There was no reason whatsoever to think that this was not true. And Twitter admitted that. Jenny on Facebook asked if we could show the source material we're reading from. We're reading from the Matt Taibbi Twitter thread, which was a report on this, which he got. His reporting on this is based on internal messages from the site itself, presumably sent to him by Mr. Musk. All right, so that's the source that we are using here for this. Yeah, I mean, we mentioned this earlier in the stream. I think it was slide 15 or something like that. It was way back. They admitted that there was evidence that Hunter Biden dropped his laptop off at a repair shop. So if you admit that there's evidence that corroborates what the New York Post says is its source, at that point you have no reason to believe it's fake.
This was about supporting a presidential candidate. This was about not risking getting blamed if he lost.
Exactly. That's really, yes. Absolutely.
They didn't want to be called the Comey of the election. And also, look, they're afraid, hey, man, what if the Democrats lose and then they decide to pull Section 230 and start treating us as publishers, which, look, I don't understand how you're not treated as a publisher. I mean, that is why they had to fall back on this hacking defense to argue that they're not really acting as publishers because it's not ideological. It's hacking, which clearly we're seeing in the end, it is ideological. This is going to be huge, and God knows what else Elon Musk is pulling out of the closet besides hashtag stay woke t-shirts that he's going to be dumping on the public. I think this is part of an overall. I feel like there's going to be a rare optimistic statement on this show. I feel like the tide is turning. I feel like this is a seminal moment in the history of this technology. We've been having this debate and this conversation, and mostly the conversation has favored the censors, and the decisions have all fallen on the side of the censors. And I think this is going to introduce an enormous crack in that momentum and that narrative. It's going to be much harder for tech platforms after this to argue that they should be allowed to govern themselves in terms of content moderation.
Yeah, well, not just in terms of content moderation, in terms of enforcing practices across the board. One of the reasons I've been on this page for so long is, for those who don't know, and most of you guys watching this are not subscribers to the channel because we have a huge audience, so hit that subscribe button. But one of the reasons I've been on this page for so long is because I drove for Uber for years. And all these tech companies function more or less the same thing. There's no real oversight. There's no sort of human element in terms of
totally
rules.
arbitrary.
It's arbitrary. It's bots, right? It's, if you find a human being, it's someone reading off a screen, sort of basically automated response. You may as well not be talking to a person. There is no accountability whatsoever within these organizations to anyone, not the customers or the users. Right. And so that has to change. It doesn't just have to change in terms of social media. It has to change across the board. All of these tech companies, you can now get rich off a laptop when you create an app that employs, or if you don't want to call them employees, you call them contractors. We did a show on this, right? When you can, from your gym shorts in your loft apartment in Santa Monica, when you can create an app that involves millions of people, and you can run it as a bare bones operation, you cannot treat the people involved in the use of that app, whether they are using it as consumers or whether they are using it as professionals who are, making a living partly off of this app. You cannot treat them fairly if you do not implement oversight. And you need human beings to implement oversight. And a lot of the people who start these companies don't want to involve themselves with other human beings because you can hoard a fuck ton of money for yourself if you keep the crew bare bones. Right. This is why, as much as Elon Musk is trimming the fat, and there's no doubt fat to be trimmed, one thing I would say about this is that to run these things the right way, you need people. You need human beings.
I think that's a purge. I think it's an ideological purge. Maybe. I think like now that he got rid of these people, he'll start hiring people who are fresh to the company.
Well, let's see. I mean, look, the record so far. Thank you so much, Red Z. I appreciate that. Appreciate the donation very much. You guys remind me of my old drinking buddies that were Ralph Nader voters. Here, get yourself each a 40 ounce and share a pack of Pall Malls on Red. You guys do good work. It's funny. I was going to bring a beer in here for this stream, but
thank you.
I was actually, it's late at night, and I was thinking about breaking out a few drinks here. But as you can see, I'm tired. I'm slightly off my game anyway because it's very, very late, and so I didn't want to introduce any other compromising factors into that. But thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, look, whatever you want to say about how Musk has handled this job so far, this right here, and I said this as soon as we went live, this right here makes it worthwhile. The fact that we have this now. Because this is a game changer.
Yes.
This is a game changer. It has to be, and it already is. You could tell it already is.
If nothing else, whatever happens going forward, this made Musk taking over Twitter 100% worth it. This is one of those gestures. Again, we're not Musk fans, but we're not Kana fans either. And credit where credit is due.
We're not real Kana fans either. Right?
I think he came off pretty well there. This is gangster, man. He fucking this is like what you would do if you had $1 trillion and you took over Twitter.
Right, exactly. Right.
It's very rare that you get a guy like that who would do something like this. And this is really, you see this again and again. When the establishment really hates somebody, it's not because of their crimes. Bill Gates should be fucking drawn and quartered for the bullshit. You want to talk about disinformation? Claiming that they couldn't give up the formula to the COVID vaccine because they didn't have the manufacturing capacity in the third world to make
Right.
it.
So they couldn't distribute it.
That was
Right.
not true.
Right.
But
It's because they wanted to make money off.
They'll celebrate Bill Gates to the ends of the earth, that fucking criminal scumbag. But somebody who doesn't toe the line, this is their worst nightmare. The world's richest man is not one of them.
Right. And this is one of those things. It's funny because you mentioned that, and it's totally true. Like, you always think to yourself, why can't someone in power just go on out on a limb and do something like this? Like, why does nobody ever do it? Why does nobody in a position to do something
you know
ever
what this
just say,
is?
fuck it, I'm doing it?
In the DC universe, Jeff Bezos is Lex Luthor and Elon Musk is the Joker. He just went full chaos on them.
Right. And it's only just starting. All right, we're coming down the home stretch here, folks. An amazing subplot of the Twitter Hunter Biden laptop affair was how much was done without the knowledge of CEO Jack Dorsey, and how long it took for the situation to get unfucked, as one ex-employee put it, even after Dorsey jumped in. There are multiple instances in the files of Dorsey intervening to question suspensions and other moderation actions for accounts across the political spectrum. The problem with the hacked materials ruling, several sources said, was that, see, is this in the right order? What the fuck? That was at 8:30. This was at 8:10. Okay, so I guess it is in the right order. See, it's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Again, come on, Elon. Come on. What is this shit?
You're an engineer.
Fix this shit.
You're an engineer.
Those two things don't flow. Were they consecutive? I guess they were, because there's a line here. Anyway, the problem with the hacked materials ruling, several sources said, was that this normally required an official law enforcement finding of a hack. But such a finding never appears throughout what one executive describes as a whirlwind 24-hour company-wide mess. All right, let's read this. Hi, Owls. As you probably are aware, Twitter actioned tweets yesterday relating to two New York Post articles that were tweeted out that allegedly included pictures and screenshots of emails from a laptop that allegedly belonged to Hunter Biden, presidential candidate Joe Biden's son. Our teams made the determination that the materials fall under our hacked materials policy, in addition to sharing personal information, so links were actioned. As you may know, this existing policy framework was launched in 2018 to mitigate real-time harm based on hack and leak scenarios coming out of the 2016 election. All right. Jesus, this is getting exhausting. All right. Several high-profile accounts, including press outlets, were impacted by this decision and were actioned. Unfortunately, the language that was provided in the product may have created confusion, indicating the links were spam or unsafe. Consequently, Twitter's safety explained the reasoning here in a thread. This morning, the New York Post tweeted additional links to stories that contained pictures of screenshots of emails that we also actioned. The teams determined that a Trump campaign tweet that previously was actioned for containing PPI would not be reactioned when it was retweeted without the PPI blurred. I know there are questions that you probably have and are also probably getting a lot of incoming from stakeholders, government, academic, civil society, etc. The last 24 hours certainly has been a whirlwind with lots of curves and unknowns, and we fully expect that the issues surrounding this matter will continue to swirl in the coming days. So thank you to everyone for your patience. Once again, just a steaming pile of bullshit. The last 24 hours certainly has been
baffle them with bullshit.
A whirlwind with lots of curves and unknowns. No, there were no curves. There were no unknowns. There was confusion of your own deliberate creation. All you had here was a story be published in an outlet, and someone shared it, and all you had to do was leave it be. That's all you had to do.
This is crazy stuff here, man. This is crazy stuff. There's this laptop, and we don't know what's going on here. We got intelligence agents telling us to shut the fuck up and suppress it until after the election, and we have to find a way to justify that.
Right, exactly. It's all of their own making. Mike,
More
thank
money,
you.
more money, more money, more money.
Thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate that. Found you guys a couple weeks ago. You're awesome. Well, thank you. I hope everybody who's here thinks we're awesome, or maybe think that perhaps we might be awesome. And please hit that subscribe button and take a chance. And maybe you'll find in the coming weeks that we're awesome, just like Mike did.
Lisa, if you're out there, the alimony's in the mail.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We got, 370 in the stream now. Great. Excellent. Well, please hit that like button to get this stream out there. And please hit that subscribe button. You guys have been doing well with that, but hit that subscribe button so you can see what this channel is about. I think you'll dig it. All right, let's keep going here. We are almost at the end of this. It's been a whirlwind 96 hours for me too. There is much more to come. Beautiful, including answers to questions about issues like shadow banning, boosting follower counts, the fate of various individual accounts, that's going to be great, and more. These issues are not limited to the political right. Good night, everyone. Thanks to all who picked up the phone in the last few days. I'm going to give him a like right there myself. Thank you, Matt Taibbi.
Well done.
For this
well done, Mr.
absolutely
Taibbi. Well
epic,
done. Well
absolutely epic evening of real journalism. This was one of the most badass pieces of reporting ever. And if you go with the whole, Marshall McLuhan medium is the message thing, to put this out on Twitter just makes
great.
it all the more epic.
Matt Taibbi has long been my favorite political journalist. And this definitely justifies my faith in him. I know how good he is because every shitlib I know, like I say Taibbi, and you could see them like just bolt upright. Like
Greenwald and Taibbi,
they
man,
fucking hate Matt Taibbi.
They're the two.
Oh, Tusker! I thought that was Tucker because he's a fan.
Yeah.
We've heard.
I appreciate you, Tusker. Thank you so much for that donation.
Man.
Thank you guys very much. We hope you guys all enjoyed this. We were able to read that thread. We'll hang around a little bit. Why not? We got a few hundred people in the chat there. But yeah, man, just an absolutely epic evening. What an epic evening. It's funny. I mean, one thing I'll share here, I'll pull it up on my email. I got an email coming across the wire because I am a freeloader when it comes to Matt Taibbi. I'm not a paid Substack
I am a paid Substack guy.
But Russell is. And so Matt Taibbi, I had a feeling that something was coming here. And by the way, obviously it goes without saying everybody should subscribe to his Substack, whether you do that free or paid. You should subscribe to our Substack too, actually. And let me put the link here to patreon.com. What am I doing telling people to subscribe? I mean, yeah, subscribe is great, but go to Patreon and become a member so we can do this more often. If we get enough patrons, we'll come on live every time because it looks like this is going to be like an anthology series, right? So we can come on every night and do this if we get some patrons, right? So patreon.com/DoDissidents and DoDissidents.substack.com. Patrons have call-in access to these shows as well as access to bonus content. We didn't have time to give patrons a call-in link to this one, though, because we just came on with 15 minutes notice. So, but all our regularly scheduled live streams, patrons have call-in access. We're on every Thursday at 4 o'clock and every Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern.
Bill Bradley, I think that's a good suggestion. So I want to see shit libs losing their minds over there.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that. That sounds like a great idea. Okay. All right. Good suggestion. Good call. Anyway, this is what he sent out at 6:41, about 20 minutes before this dropped. Note to readers, it's about to get weird in here, an appeal for your patience. He apologized to his readers for not dropping this on Substack, which is, come on, no apology necessary. This was epic. You couldn't put this on fucking Substack, man. You had to drop this on Twitter.
No, I am an actual paying subscriber, and all is forgiven, Matt.
Yeah. All right, shall we, let's take a look at some of these responses. Let's see which we can crowdsource this. Which tweet, because there's about 40 tweets here, which one should we pick to examine what the responses are here? Let's see here. Let's see. Which one should we pick here?
I don't know. The Democrats being against the First Amendment.
Yeah, maybe that.
This is a good one.
That could be good. All right, so Democrats, First Amendment. Okay, this one here. No. The one of the last ones, right? Is the Democrats
Towards
being
the end,
against the First Amendment? Thing is, the Democrat. Okay, the First Amendment isn't absolute. All right, good. Let's see what his comment section looks like here. Let's see who. This is Laverne Spicer. She's a MAGA person here. Chilling passages. You do understand that. Oh, okay. So here's a piece of you know, I have to be careful what I say. Chilling passages. Yeah. You do understand that several forms of speech aren't protected by the First, and Twitter isn't owned by the government.
They love that.
Private company defense. Well, the private company defense is dismantled in this thread as well. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. The private company defense, as ludicrous as that is, especially to anyone who proclaims to be on the left in any nominal capacity, even that defense goes out the window here, because what we hear are that the Democrats are pressuring Twitter to censor more. So once the state leans on the private company to take proactive action that benefits them by way of suppressing speech, you can't even say that it's a private company, they can do what they want, because according to the Democratic Party, no, they're not supposed to even do what they want. They have to enforce their will. So even as stupid an argument as that is, it doesn't even apply here. That was nullified by this thread as well.
I hate these people.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, this is what you always hear when you talk to the shit libs. They're all over the place. They don't believe in the First Amendment, and so they try to distort it to suggest that it has more limitations than it really does.
Here's a real idiot. Go ahead.
And then they're all Kirk versus the computer. For those who are new to the show, Captain Kirk, there were 3 or maybe 4 Star Trek episodes where Captain Kirk defeats an AI by giving it contradictory information. But you are the evil. You must destroy yourself, right? So libs constantly walk themselves into this. So this is where they're at with Twitter. I just had this argument with somebody tonight. It's a private company. They become, all of a sudden they're all fucking Rand Paul, right, when it's being run by Jack Dorsey.
Well, here it is. Look, here's this guy. I truly don't understand how this is still a point of contention. It's a private company.
So you should be celebrating Elon Musk's takeover.
You're right.
It's a private company. He can do whatever he wants. All of a sudden, now they are back to wanting government intervention.
Right. Exactly. Whole Foods doesn't let you spray on their walls. They get to decide what's allowed in their business. Thinks he's making such a point. The exact same standard applies to Twitter. How do so many people miss this? Nobody misses this. You're not nearly as smart as you think you are. Everybody understands that. They just understand that it's a moronic point, and you don't. All right. But also, they get to decide what's allowed in their business. That's basically, okay, well, you're not allowed to report true information that undercuts the candidate of the choice for 98.5% of the people who work at the company, right? He's saying he's basically equating the Hunter Biden laptop story to spray paint on the walls, as if it's foul information, when it's not. It's not. I don't know if you missed this.
Simply
imbecile.
And
also, but it's not.
Also listen, jerk off. If
this is a good segment, just attacking random Twitter.
We
can go live any time of day with this shit. This is the show, man.
We should. This should be all we do.
Right.
No. You know how well I've been thinking about opening up a section like this. You got all these motherfuckers who just comment on insane TikTok videos. We should do that. We'd have a field day doing that. But hang on. What? Now I lost my train of thought.
It's all right. Here, I'll put it back up. Do we want to go back?
Put it back up. Put it back up, because I definitely had a point there. Okay, so what? The problem is you are specifically censoring specific information to favor a particular candidate. What if they did that in the other direction? What if Elon Musk starts doing that in favor of Ron DeSantis? Are you going to make the private company argument?
Right.
I don't think you are. I mean, I'd be very surprised if you did.
Right. Somebody agrees with that. Exactly. It's a non-story anywho. It's a non-story anywho. This
Oh, it's
is
a non-story. Yeah, no. The fact that a bunch of rich tech overlords decided what information the public was allowed to be exposed to. Yeah, it's a non-story. It's a non-story. These people, whenever they get nailed on something like this, that's one of their favorite fallbacks. They have a few, but that's one of their favorites. It's a nothing burger. They love that one.
yeah. Oh yeah, right. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Nothing to
Yawn.
say. Oh,
Right.
yawn. Yeah, exactly.
Yawn. It's something, all right, later. I'm gonna try and find some more here. I wanted to go a little bit earlier in the thread here, just because we had some people who were mocking this. Let's see the comment. See, again, this is hard to do. Here, I'll bring it. I'll share my screen with everybody. See, I'm trying to work it. How do you work this? Okay, now I'm seeing Matt Taibbi's things, but how do I see the comments? I don't want to comment. I just want to see other people's comments. How do I do that? See, this is what I mean. It doesn't work. Oh, here, okay, now we have some. All right, so we have memes. Oh yeah, this guy had an absolutely horrible take on this. Tom Coates. I think I responded to one of his takes actually. The First Amendment, as you know very well, does not restrict the rights of the company.
Yeah,
okay, blah blah. I mean, it's so. I mean, this is just so banal.
Okay. Well, so again, they should be celebrating Elon Musk doing whatever he wants at Twitter. Why aren't they thrilled about that? This is their worldview, isn't it? Right? What's the problem? What's the problem with Elon Musk? What's the problem that he's running a private company as he will? I'm amazed that there's still
Bill of Rights. I mean, this is all they have. It's revealing that we're trying to find interesting lib takes to bash, but this shows you just what lemmings they are. This shows you just how unoriginal, unintelligent, incurious they are. They all say the same thing. Bill of Rights doesn't apply to private companies. Okay. All right. So what they're basically saying is a private company has the right that people have a right to lie. They have the right to lie, to make shit up.
I like
right?
this one.
Okay. So then what do
Matt Taibbi is right. Corporate media. In what universe, John to Emily? This is a guy who gave up a very cushy job at Rolling Stone.
She may have been right about corporate media because she said go Matt Taibbi. Maybe it was
I was like, John to Emily, you watch our show?
Yeah, he was about and
that's how you feel. And that's how you feel about Matt Taibbi?
Yeah.
I couldn't put those things together, but once in a while people surprise you.
Yeah.
Here we go. Musk is a danger to humanity. Well, Bill Gates is actually a pretty big danger to humanity, being like the self-appointed health czar who made sure that the third world couldn't get vaccines. I'd say that's a pretty big danger to humanity, John. So why don't you go after Bill Gates for a while and then come back and talk to me about Elon Musk?
Let's see. Do we have any? See, this is what I mean. Like, the takes are just so uninteresting. They're just so uninteresting here. Yeah, no, nothing really else to see here. That I can see. That Tom Coates did one that I'm gonna try searching here. Let me try searching Tom Coates because he put out one earlier. Because he was all over this thread. He was trying to get his owns in. Tom Coates, a new product strategy and development.
Yeah, she means right about corporate media. That was my bad. Okay. That was my bad.
He was about to go nuclear on one of our loyal viewers.
Hey, man, sometimes people have funny takes. Like, you can be surprised.
Yeah, for sure. It is possible. Tweets and replies. All right, let's see what Tom Coates had to say.
Vegan Goddess just signed up to our Substack. Thank you, Vegan Goddess. We do write articles too, so it is worth joining up. Hey, John, see, this is another one with sarcastic. You just never know, because once in a while we get people who come on here and like the guy we had before who didn't like my Australian accent. The guy with the Chinese, I think they were Chinese characters, who right at the beginning was bashing Elon Musk and all that stuff.
Okay, so here's a truly, I mean, you talk about a real mind fuck here. This was something that Tom Coates retweeted by Ben Collins, who Greenwald has had a few run-ins with this guy. This is pretty hilarious. What Elon Musk's Twitter files have revealed so far is that content moderation at Twitter was being decided by a team of people with differing viewpoints. Yeah, 98.5 to 1.5 at differing viewpoints. Now it's being decided by the richest man on earth with an axe to grind against one political party. A true scandal. Now, that is just, once again, just idiotic by its own logic, right? I mean, it's idiotic by its own logic. It's a scandal now that Twitter is being run by Elon Musk because he says he supports Ron DeSantis for president in 2024. That's a scandal. It's a scandal that he owns Twitter now. But it wasn't a scandal before because there were
It wasn't a
viewpoints.
It wasn't
98 to 2.
It was not. Yeah, I mean, you had the 2 though.
Yeah,
you had the 2. I mean, at least you had that. All right, John is the only one here who supports my Australian accent, so I appreciate that, John.
Yeah, we needed this news here. Deanna Williams said we needed this news after the BS rail worker decision. For people who don't know what this show is about, we just covered the rail worker decision. You know, we cover labor politics. We are generally a left show, but obviously we're part of the shrinking faction of the left called the free speech left. That's we're shrinking in numbers, but we're trying to hold down our sort of space there. So please help us out by subscribing to the channel. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Please make this happen for us. We got some decent growth while we are on here, but keep it coming. Keep it coming. Hit that subscribe button.
Hit it. Get us to 3,500 tonight.
3,500. We're almost there. We're at 3462.
We're rocking it out.
Yeah. Our 3,500th subscriber will receive Russell's hat.
No, I like this hat.
So buy another one. You're sending him your hat.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, we are actually. And does anybody in our audience play banjo? I know a couple of banjo players. I don't know if if their politics will allow them to do it. But we're working on our first song parody, Brandon I. Joe. And
Brandon I. Joe.
We need or Strikebreaker Joe.
Tell
us what you think is better, because it's to the tune of Cotton Eye Joe. So Brandon I. Joe or Strikebreaker Joe.
Yeah, let us know which you think is better than that. You guys keep reporting on Taibbi and Fallout this week. Yeah, sure, we absolutely will. We'll be on
you
it.
Better believe it.
We will be all over it. All over it. I couldn't believe it when that started coming across. It was just crazy how it happened, how it unfolded, just the theatricality of it. To be a Twitter thread with a new thing dropping every 3 minutes, and he would post something, and then everybody would respond. And
okay, so I was literally giving a tour to 2 people. All right, man, they weren't like shit libs, but they definitely were on the like, well, this is terrible what's going on at Twitter with Elon Musk. And so I get the tweet, I get the text from Keaton, and I look at it, and immediately I understood what was happening. And they were like, what is it? I was like, Musk unleashed the Kraken. They were like, what do you mean? I said, he's emptying out the closet, man. He's showing how they suppressed the laptop. And they were like, they had that whole narrative. Oh, well, Musk, he's done for. He's not going to be able to keep Twitter going. And I made the same argument I did here, which may be why I didn't get tipped.
Yeah. Oh, so you actually argued with him? I
did argue with them. Yeah.
I never disagree with a tour guest, no matter what.
I generally don't get into those subjects, but they had kind of opened subjects like that already. I usually just stay off those topics. I just don't talk about those things.
Yeah. I always when I was on a tour, I would always I'm a total whore in that way. Like, yeah, whatever they're
Oh yeah,
opinion
yeah,
is
yeah.
about something. Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah,
with
you
you,
know.
100%.
Well, I don't do
Oh,
that. I just stay off those subjects.
oh yeah, no, Bernie Sanders, he's
I
extreme, an
okay. So,
extremist. He's an extremist. You know,
all
he's
right,
not pragmatic. Hillary all the way, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
all right.
Take the money, go home. Fuck them.
I had people one day. This was probably the most I ever like backslapped a customer. I had I had these crazy rich Republicans, like crazy rich. Like we went in a limo, but like the kind of crazy you have to be rich to be that crazy. Because if you had to hold down a job, they'd fire
Oh, I
you.
know the
Like you
type. Believe
just
me, I've
couldn't be
given
able.
tours. I've used to tour guide in New York City when I lived there. I've given tours to that type before.
So they were from Texas on top of it. And she's talking, the whole thing, man. We're in the back of the limo. She's talking about George Soros and all that. And I'm trying to be I'm trying to be diplomatic. And I'm like, well, you maybe we shouldn't have money in the system at all. But, you got Sheldon Adelson, you got all those people. And
It's funny, Sorry, go ahead.
all day I'm with this woman going on and on and on, all these Republican talking points, on and on and on and on and on. So the tour was the 9/11 museum. So we go through the whole 9/11 museum, and I had been biting my tongue all day. And we were getting out of the 9/11 museum. She goes, "You know what I like about George Bush? He kept us safe." I said, "Yeah, except for 9/11."
Except for this.
How the fuck do you come out of the 9/11 museum with that takeaway?
Yeah, no, it's insane. The most insane 9/11 museum take that I ever did. So I was giving a tour. My boss was from Britain and his girlfriend was from Britain and her father was in town. And so my boss, this is when I was managing the tour company. So he asked me, he hired me to take his girlfriend and, his girlfriend's dad around in a car. So we get to the 9/11 museum and this guy was a fun guy. I like this guy. And, but he was nuts. And we get to the 9/11 museum. In fact, at this point, I don't even think it was the museum. I think it was ground zero. Like they were still building the Freedom Tower and everything. Like it was just ruins, right? It was wreckage. So it was a very somber. I mean, it's obviously a somber place now, but especially then, there was no attraction. It was just a building being built and the wreckage of this thing. And so the guy, I'll never forget this, fucking morbidly. See, this gives you a sense of the gallows humor of the show for those of you who just sort of stumbled upon this. He's looking at the building being built and he says, "I don't understand." He says, "They struck the buildings at 9 o'clock in the morning. They could have killed a lot more people if they did it in the middle of the afternoon when the buildings were more crowded, no?" And I told him, because I could tell this guy had a good sense of humor, even though he was nuts. I said, "I think the terrorists were pretty satisfied with how it went down that day, really. Like I don't think bin Laden was nitpicking the time of day. Like I don't think they were looking at that saying, 'God damn it, we should have done this a couple hours later.' I think, they took the win, right? So that was one thing. But then the other thing, the thing about the George Soros thing is that I always thought the Soros thing, like the Soros paranoia, was something that like the more populist Republicans felt. Like the Alex Jones people, oh, Soros. Like if you're a rich fuck, and
no, they get fed that on the Fox.
I guess Fox, yeah, that's true.
Why the fuck are you talking about this instead of working class issues? Zachary, drop $20 on us and we'll explain it.
Yeah, we just did a bunch of working class issues. We did working class issues all day yesterday.
We did.
And now we're just hanging out with some of our new
railroad strikers.
That's true. We interviewed, yes, for those of you, check out the channel. We interviewed two of the union workers from one of the railroads that was threatening to strike. We haven't had a subscriber in a few minutes here. We're stuck on 3464. Can we get that count up here? Can you guys please just hit the subscribe button?
Can I hear 6470? Can I hear 3470?
Thank you very much. Oh, somebody just left. We lost one just now. What, I insulted him?
You insulted him a little bit.
You insulted him a little bit. You got a little out of order yourself.
Oh, sorry, I insulted him. All right, they left.
I must have been Zachary.
Yeah.
Zachary had enough.
Well, Zachary was on Facebook. I don't think Zachary wasn't watching us on YouTube.
A revolution without dancing is a revolution not worth having. Every now and then, you got to hang out. chill out.
We're just hanging out because we
No,
still got
talk a little
280
bit.
people here. We can't leave with 280 people on the stream.
Yeah,
Well,
man, we're hanging out, talking to y'all. I mean, there is the show business principle. Always leave them wanting more.
Yeah, but I mean, when you have a big crowd, it's an opportunity to just hang out and talk and get to know you guys. Get to know you guys a little bit. There's a social element to this. This isn't just a presentation. This is interactive. In fact, here I'll give you guys, since we're having fun, I'll give you guys a peek behind the curtain.
You Canadians, watch out, man, because they have gone full Soylent Green on you, motherfuckers. They're like, they want to give you the fucking wine and the send off and. Goodbye. No more healthcare costs from you.
Here's some text communications between Russell and myself in preparation for the stream tonight. The Due Dissidence files. A sequel to the Taibbi, the Twitter files. I said, Taibbi's dropping some pretty epic shit on Twitter now. Check it out when you get home. We must cover Sunday. Yo, this is epic. He basically has this whole expose that he's releasing as a giant Twitter thread, and then we decided we had to go on tonight. See, he was on the train. Russell was on the train at 9:45. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And then I made a typo. Do you have honk?
Yeah.
Can you make it?
All right. So does anybody have any questions for us before we wrap up?
Yeah. Anybody got a question that you can attach to a super chat?
Leave them wanting less.
Yeah, leave them wanting less. That's good. I like that. Leave them wanting less. I like that. Does anybody have a question?
We covered it, man. We worked for our money, man. We put on our booty shorts. We were out here.
Yeah, you can rewind the stream.
Doing the whole thing.
You can rewind the stream. You can replay it here. We covered the whole Matt Taibbi Twitter files expose. We read through the whole thing, the entire thing. Lloyd says he loved the rando shitlib reactions. Well, thank you, Lloyd. I appreciate that.
It is amazing how much it's the same reaction.
Oh, it's
just all the same reactions. It's amazing.
No, they have the right to do.
They are a private company, and also, what is this First Amendment of which you speak?
Right. The First Amendment is not absolute.
The First Amendment only applies in your bed under a blanket.
Right. Exactly. Oh, Mika says new hat tomorrow, Russell. New hat tomorrow.
I mean, this is the only hat I have that I like.
Oh, yeah. All right. Does anybody have any questions? Please, like I said, in all seriousness, hit us up, patreon.com/DueDissidents. Who signed up at Substack just now? Thank you very much for doing that. Who was
Thank
it?
you. We do write articles. You should definitely check us out there. Yeah, we started out basically doing podcasts and articles. Like the YouTube show came later.
Yeah, exactly. We started out just doing audio podcasts and written pieces. And then we decided to get the YouTube channel going about a year ago.
We got a question. Will the national media cover the story? Lloyd, they're going to have to. They're going to have. This is too much.
This is too big.
It's too much. It's too big. They can't ignore it. They can't. What happens a lot with these stories is they ignore it. And I'm sure you've all noticed that. They ignore it until they can't. That's why I say you have to watch all media, because so often I see stories in the right-wing media that won't be covered in the rest of the media for another month.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson covered this tonight. He had Greenwald on his show, and then Greenwald did a Rumble stream. Greenwald only did a half hour. You know why? Because he's a big pussy. We did what? 2 hours, right?
Boom. And I worked all day.
Just kidding. Probably. We love Glenn Greenwald. It's all
we love Glenn Greenwald.
We love Greenwald.
Now those fucking who are our arch nemesis?
Who are our arch nemesis?
Yeah, the other ones.
The Vanguard?
No, the other ones.
Who are our? What do you mean? Who are our arch nemesis?
There's like 7 of them, 8 of them. What are they?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah,
if you're making a joke, I don't get it. It's going over my head.
No. What's their podcast?
Pod Save America?
No, the other ones.
Podcast?
No. They're actually good. But
the ones who we say.
Yeah.
Talk about Chapo Trap House. Yeah.
Chapo Trap House. Posers.
It's a very unprofessional moment in the show. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
Robert, thank you so much, Robert. Really appreciate that. Robert signed up at Patreon and he kicked in another $20. He's going to give you 5. Everyone else did 20, which is the new normal. Well, yeah, that's the inflation adjusted super chat rate. So thank you so much. See, this is why you hang out. This is why you hang out longer than you're welcome, because you may get money.
You
We're
make
busking.
you make a yeah, exactly.
Right. If you're out busking on a subway, you don't pack it in while there's still people waiting for the train. You pack it in once the train comes and the platform is empty. So if you guys,
we're gonna sing Freebird.
Yeah. Frank said Chapo Trap House. Frank is one of our first fans. Frank is really an original.
That is an OG that he got that, because we have not made that joke in a long time. We stopped having fake arch nemesis when we got a real one.
Yeah, when we got real ones. Yeah.
Now we got a real one. Once we had the Vanguard, we stopped making fun of Chapo Trap House. We always liked them. That was always a joke.
Right. Like Chapo was always a joke.
It's not like Vanguard. That started because the first time I saw them, I had never heard of them. And I said it was like if the background extras on Fargo had a political podcast and killed Keaton. That was the beginning of our.
I remember when you said that. Lauren Steiner was on the show at the time. We had a guest, so it wasn't just us. We were interviewing a friend of ours, and you said, yeah, it sucks. It's like if the background extras from Fargo started a podcast. And I had a delayed reaction to it because what was funny, I mean, the line itself is funny, but I also find humor in the sort of emotional undercurrents of jokes, not just the jokes themselves. Just like the disrespect conveyed in that line is just funny to me.
And completely intended. Okay, so Aberdeen, we're big fans of Glenn.
Yeah, we were just joking.
Yeah, we're joking. We're
joking.
We're big fans of Glenn. We've had Aaron on the show.
We've had Aaron Mate on the show. Yes, check out our interview with Aaron Mate. Yeah, but yes, we are big Greenwald fans.
We're big Greenwald fans.
We were just joking because look, he took it easy, right? He did a half hour. He took the sort of cushy way out. He didn't come on for 2 hours the way we did. Thank you for doing this, gentlemen. Very important. Can't wait to see what goes down. Yeah, we'll be on this. We will definitely be on this. We will not miss a beat. Jeffrey Michael, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Are they left or right? New to the stream? Well, you decide. Subscribe and check out our body of work. What we say is, look, I consider myself on the left. I'm a leftist insofar as I believe that people should be able to go to the doctor when they're sick and not have to worry about being financially ruined for it. I'm a leftist in the sense that I don't believe people should be forced into decades of debt when they come out of school. I'm a leftist in the sense that I believe, in a sense that I am a critic of the carceral state. I'm against mass incarceration, those things. So I would say I am a civil libertarian, as Greenwald is, but I have left economic views. That's it. We're part of the unwoke free speech left. So that's what we are. We had to label ourselves.
This is,
but seriously, subscribe to the channel and find out for yourself. Don't take our word
we're
for
basically
it.
we're economic leftists,
right,
and old school liberal universalists, I would say, on social policy.
Right, we're not conservative socially. I'm pro-choice and pro-gay marriage.
Yeah. We believe what leftists believed about having a harmonious society until 10 minutes ago, that we're all human beings first and we should all respect each other.
Right. Exactly. We're all about respect here. That's why we do a very nice, polite show.
We do a nice, yes.
She Nebraskan says, great show. Figured I'd have to wait until Sunday. Yeah, we thought maybe we'd jump on tomorrow, but then as stuff kept blowing up, we're like, we got to come on now. Because if we come on now, we'll get a huge audience. It'll be a great opportunity to meet some new people. And we did. We still got 237 people here watching us talk about literally nothing.
Well, we're reading comments.
Yeah, we're riffing.
We're hanging out. Taibbi Twitter gained something like 150K followers. One of my favorite things about this is that Matt Taibbi is about to become a household name, as he should be.
Yeah, this puts him in the Hall of Fame. This
Yeah.
puts
Oh
him
yeah,
on the
yeah.
Mount
Now
Rushmore.
he is going to be a household name.
Yeah,
I'm
this is-
very glad that Taibbi's journalism is going to get the amount of attention that it's going to get now.
What was the Pentagon Papers guy? What was his name?
That's Daniel
Ellsberg, right. This puts him on the Mount Rushmore of Greenwald, Ellsberg. I mean, this puts you in that echelon.
Right.
And yeah, couldn't have happened to a more deserving person. He's at 1 million followers right now. So I think, yeah, he gained over 200,000 followers today. It was insane. I mean, that is just boss, man.
Good for him.
And
Good for
like
him.
a true gamer, he did this thing where he has a podcast associated with his Substack called America This Week. And good on him, he knows what he's got to do to make his work count. Right after he published all that shit, he dropped his podcast.
He dropped it. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I listened to like the first 5 minutes, but then we were going on.
Right. That's what you got to do. Right? You got to strike while the iron's hot. That's why the hot new show debuts right after the Super Bowl. So, New America This Week.
I have it somewhere back here. Yeah, here it is. If anybody has not read this, can't recommend it enough.
Hate Inc. That was
Hate
Matt
Inc.
Taibbi's book about the corporate
Hate
media.
Inc. by Matt Taibbi. That is the best book I have read explaining and summing up what is going on today in both the media and the impact that's having in the country. The chapter on Rachel Maddow alone is worth the price of the book.
Yeah. It's definitely a great book. Mana Talk. Taibbi is a great journalist, but I have a feeling there's more to what he's exposed. Well, he has more. He said there's going to be more. He just wished everybody a good night.
This is just the beginning.
Just the beginning. I mean, he had tens of thousands of items that he had to rifle through. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that's the thing, man. When you're a journalist, the amount
you
of
gotta
reading
you gotta hire a team.
Oh
to
yeah,
help
of
you
course,
go
not
through
just
that
him.
shit.
Yeah. But just the gathering of that information and then to process it and order it in a linear way that makes sense to people. I mean, it's really
That's why I'm
hard.
saying Taibbi was the perfect person for this.
Yeah. And he was Twitter savvy enough to know how to present it as this thread, know how to time it right and everything, and really prep the materials and stuff like that. I mean, it just must have been very exhilarating for him to be dropping this stuff out 3 minutes apart from each other, one piece, and just kind of like making sure you have everything together. I'm sure he couldn't like really relish in it until after it was done, because you got to drop the next tweet 3 minutes later. So you got to make sure you got your text ready to copy and paste. You have the right graphic, right? It all has to come together through one handle, right? So like, yeah, you might have a team that helps you compile it, but at the end of the day, if you're tweeting from your account, you're sitting there at the computer putting all this stuff in, making sure it's right, and 4 minutes apart, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, really.
Well,
precise operation.
And I also I love the fact that they're gonna be coming for him. And okay, look, Greenwald is fucking is Howard Beale. He's the angry prophet. Aaron is this very serious, kind of straightforward journalist. Taibbi has an overall critique of media, and he has this very sarcastic, appealing gallows humor. He's going to be able to run circles around these people. They're going to come for him, and he's going to get a lot of exposure, and he's going to
come off very well.
He's going to come off very well, and he's going to be very effective in criticizing the corporate media with a very big platform. He's going to have a lot more eyeballs on him now.
He actually has Elon Musk's sense of humor, really. He's just less of a douchebag. You know what I mean? He's like a less douchey version of Elon Musk.
Did we launch?
We did launch on Rockfin. Yeah, we have not live streamed to Rockfin yet, but we will be live streaming to Rockfin probably Sunday. But we are on Rockfin. We put a few videos up there, and I think we've gotten almost a couple hundred followers there already. So that's pretty good.
Oh,
we
wow.
We got a live stream there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
Thank you, Indie Left. I appreciate that. Oh, we'll plug that. We're going to be on the Extra Bulla show on the Indie News Network on Monday, December 5th at 7 p.m. So make sure that you guys. Oh, 186 tonight. We're up to 186 on Rockfin. Excellent. But yeah,
Look, Bad Seed said he was never going to say anything weird, quote, or she. It's hard to know from these pictures, but I appreciate that you knew the reference.
yep.
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore. How do we not have that sound drop?
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Network.
We need that one.
Apparently, Spike Lee once screened Network for I think he was doing the 25th Hour movie with Edward Norton, and he just screened it for the crew. And Spike is a very enthusiastic movie fan. It's part of what makes him so fun. And at the end of Network, as the credits roll, he gets up in the middle of the theater, he screams, "Still a motherfucker." Network, still a motherfucker, still relevant. Who just posted something? Did we get rid of the chapters in our videos? No, we didn't get rid of the chapters in the videos. I got to put chapters on last night's video. The chapter markings. I mean, look, this video, there's no chapters. This was just one show about one thing, special breaking news thing. Yesterday's show, I think we only really had 2 different chapters. It was all railroad stuff. And then we did a brief thing on Apple with their censorship or their disabling the airdrop feature for the China protests. But we're a 2-person crew here, by the way. What you see is what you get. This is the whole operation, Russell and me. So between putting videos on Rockfin and Rumble and streaming,
Well, we
bear with us.
We do have a resident musical director now.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We're going to be debuting. I'm not going to play that for you guys yet because I want to edit some video to it. It'll ruin the effect if I play it now. But one of our fans, Nick, created a theme song for us, like a little radio jingle intro, and I think it came out really fun. And so, I think that would be awesome. What does that mean? Our interview is in the top 6 today? Hold on, what does that mean?
Huh?
Our interview is in the top 6 today with the railroad workers. Did I put that up on Rockfin or did I not? I don't even remember if I uploaded that to Rockfin. Maybe I did.
You are stoned.
Are we on the top 6 in Rockfin? That would be cool. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. So, John, this is how much I like that movie. The world is a business, Mr. Beale. It has been since man crawled out of the slime. I can literally quote that movie word for word.
Yeah, it's a great
movie. And not just the mad as hell part.
Oh, yeah. No, there's all kinds of stuff in that movie.
Yeah, well, there's a play adaptation. I would love to direct that.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be Russell and I are both theater people, too. We both got started doing live theater shows. That's one of the reasons why we did not get discouraged from podcasting early, because even in the early episodes when we only had like 50 listeners, as theater people, 50 people is a great crowd. Like,
we packed the house tonight.
So like the way we think about it is like,
I think they really liked us.
If only 50 people watch this shit, who cares? Like if we rented a theater and say, okay, we're putting on a show where we just get on stage and talk for a while, who wants to come see it? If 50 people showed up to that, we'd be floored. We'd be like, damn, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So now 240, this is forget it. I mean, this is like playing Giant Stadium,
Orphan Black, do you mean Tatiana Maslany? Is that what you mean?
3467. All right, we got some new subscribers. Come on. Let's get to 3,500 so we can go to sleep.
I have been I have been very disappointed about her comments promoting She-Hulk because she turns out to be a total fucking ding dong. Tatiana Maslany, because I really liked her on Orphan Black. But listen, I mean, nothing against my actor friends. I know some really smart actors. A lot of talented actors I know are not smart in those ways. It's like they're extremely intuitive and they're very empathic, and that makes them good actors. But a lot of times there's an intellectual emptiness under that. Like if you get into more complex thinking, that's why so often these actors go out and they speak out on social issues and they just sound absurd. They just sound like incredibly stupid, because very often in those ways they are. You know what it is? People who direct, people who produce, these are people who think in terms of the groups and societies and systems. actors think in terms of emotions and people. This
Right.
is
Yeah,
not
that's a good point.
it's not their thing. It's not the way that they really think. So when they start commenting on things like that, they sound dumb. And you know what a lot of it very often is, because of the way that they are, those opinions are whatever they absorbed from the people around them. They're just kind of repeating and regurgitating what the people around them are saying.
Robert loves our guy's analysis of She-Hulk's faux feminism. Yeah, we do
Well,
some
well,
pop culture
well,
stuff.
well. Listen, we're going to be premiering on Sunday night. I have done my first video essay. Like critical drinker style video essay of like, a completely cut together critique of the Wednesday show on Netflix. That was how strongly I felt about it. We're going to be dropping that on Sunday night.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So, by the way, everybody, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like this stream, and subscribe to the channel. We do live streams every Sunday night at 7 p.m. and every Thursday afternoon, usually at 4 p.m. That could be in the middle of a workday, so sometimes it's a little before, sometimes it's a little after, but more or less Thursday at 4 and Sunday at 7. Pardon me, that is our schedule. And so, yeah, if you like what you heard this evening, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, we might never see you again. Do you want to never see us again? Is it your intention to never see us again? Is this the last you want to see of us? Because I'm not good with goodbyes. I don't like the finality of them. It's sad, right? So
It
you
is
want to
sad.
open the door to seeing us again, right? Because if you sign off now, if we end the stream now, and you don't subscribe, you probably won't remember the name of the show. You'll be like, "Oh yeah, I watched that thing. That was pretty good.
I watched
Those
that
two
thing.
whack jobs.
Those
But
guys.
what was it?"
doing
And the
thing.
algorithm won't show it. The algorithm will not show us to you. And so don't count on that. All right, just hit the subscribe button. This way, you leave the option open. Right.
It's like
Let's say this was a good first date. Right. It was a good first date. We didn't go all the way. Right. But it was a good first date. All right. And so let's say you want to keep the option open for a second date, right? Let's say you want our phone number, right? Give us your number. That's what we're saying. Just subscribe to the channel so you have our number so you can look us up if you want. If you want to call us.
Kaiten says you're cheating on your wife with her over there.
Well, you're already subscribed, so I'm not putting the moves on you. Don't worry. This is for the people who have not subscribed yet.
Yes, exactly, John to Emily. That's why most of the fans of She-Hulk hated it. You know what She-Hulk was? See, this is the thing, and this is why Tatiana Maslany sounded like such a fucking ding-dong. She kept saying these things that were just idiotic. Like it was such rote feminism, or fall feminism. There's this weird fixation on the bodies of Marvel women. Really? Have you seen Chris Hemsworth? Have you seen that guy? How many opportunities do they take to take that guy's fucking shirt off? Have you seen what's his name? Chris Evans. Like these guys are like ideals of masculinity. So that dropped like a stone, but it told me like, oh, she's just dumb. Like she's just dumb. She thought that was a smart thing to say. She thought that was an easy thing to go for. And then to say about, okay, look, even if it's a female superhero, it's all boys who buy those comic books. So She-Hulk was only a successful character because boys were buying it. So to make a She-Hulk that is basically a conduit for all of the insecurities and half-assed fourth wave feminism of its writer, that would be like if Riverdale were about how women suck, right? Like who bought the Archie comics? Those were for girls, very few boys read the Archie comics. So what if you did a whole Archie thing that was just like incredibly misogynistic? Like how would women react to that? How would they feel about that? So that was why you got such a negative reaction to She-Hulk, I think, from a lot of fans.
So is that over now?
Yes, it is over.
It's over. Was it just a limited thing, or are they doing a season 2?
I would be shocked if they do a season 2. Actually, Disney's share price tanked when they did their last earnings report because it turns out, yeah, they're doing great subscriber numbers, but they're spending $2 for every $1 that they're able to bring in on the streaming service.
Oh,
which
interesting.
obviously is not what you would call a sustainable business model. And now they just got killed on a Strange World. It looks like that's going to lose them like $100 million. You know, they whacked the CEO literally like in the middle of the night. They whacked that guy. Like they pulled a total fucking horse's head in the bed move on him. And they brought back the guy who created the problems in the first place. I don't know what they're thinking there. But they are giving signs that they're starting to rethink the go woke, go broke approach, that they might start to steer away from that a little bit. You know, I mean, anyone with any sense has been saying this for a long time. How long can they lose money? You know, like, are you that ideologically committed? Because, you know, you got shareholders who might sue you if you keep going in this direction.
You have to do what's in their interest. That's a legal obligation.
Right.
All right. Is that it? Is that all we got for tonight?
I'd say so.
I'd say so.
I want to do a Disney special episode, but that will not be tonight.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, if you're here, check out the rest of the channel. We have an interview tab. We just interviewed Aaron Mate about a month ago. That was great. We just interviewed a couple of striking railroad workers yesterday. That was great. Please check it out. I hope you like what you see. And once again,
I ranted about the lib backlash
the
against Ancient Apocalypse.
We should just play all of our videos now that we have an audience in here. Just play
it back to back. Sunday, my Wednesday video essay is going to be epic. It's
Wednesday, meaning the new Tim Burton Addams Family spinoff series,
which I absolutely hated, because
I
am a big Addams Family fan, and that show hurt me deep down inside. It hurt me enough to do. Okay, so this is the deal with those video essays, which thank God I have Keaton, because I would have wasted a lot of time if he had not figured this out for me. You can't use more than 5 seconds of copyrighted material. So if you go and if anyone's a fan of Critical Drinker, anybody,
without tripping
or like Little Platoon,
censor, that's not to say I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't think it would be a legal issue because this is all fair use. You're commenting on it, but if you use certain stuff, it trips like automated censors.
They're going to come
get
after
the video,
you know,
either demonetized or
written
undistributed, shit like that. Yeah, exactly.
So
legally speaking, it's fair use. You're commenting on it. You should.
But they fuck with you.
They fuck with you anyway.
How are you going to fight back?
Right,
it's not worth it.
Exactly.
So if you watch these video essays like Little Platoon, Critical Drinker, I like both of those. If you know, I didn't realize it. Yeah, every 5 seconds they cut every 5 seconds. I felt strongly enough about that show, pissed me off enough that I was willing to do that.
13 minutes. Yeah,
14 minutes. 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds.
It's like a Michael Bay movie.
I've been doing nothing but that for the last week.
It's like a Michael Bay movie. Just
it
constant
is.
cuts.
It is.
Yeah.
I had to write it. I wrote a 4-page essay, recorded it, and then I had to put the visuals to it. So Sunday, that's going to drop, yo.
Yeah, it'll drop after our live stream. It'll premiere right after we're done. So we'll probably live stream from like 7 to 8:25, and then we'll have that premiere at 8:30 as its own video. We want to premiere it as its own video so that it can get momentum as its own video. We don't want to premiere it as part of the live stream because the way the YouTube algorithm works, we're hoping it'll catch as a standalone thing.
I think I'm going to be the first, man, because
so people don't have to sit through an hour, 20 minutes of labor bitching.
All the people who, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All the people who specialize in this shit, they're not touching Wednesday, man. They're too busy bitching about the Indiana Jones trailer and having their Schadenfreude moment about Strange World. None of them have touched Wednesday, so I think I'm going to be the first to drop a video essay about that show.
Yeah, Tim Burton directed 4 of the 8 episodes of that.
He did, and it's as you know, lacking in human emotion as most of his work.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, his whole aesthetic never really like I was never really a huge fan. It ultimately kind of just meant nothing to me.
So,
Not that it's not that he's not done good work. He has. But he doesn't strike me as the kind of auteur that he probably thinks of himself as, because the stuff is just it's all
he's
surface
a great
level.
production designer.
Right. He's an art director basically.
He's an art director, right?
And even that, the style gets old after
it
30
gets old.
films.
Right,
It's the same thing already. You know what I mean?
I love Dark Shadows. I'll give him that.
Yeah, and that was one that got
I love
not
that
such
movie.
great reception, right? Or was it?
It
do well?
did all right. It did all right. It wasn't a big hit.
Right.
I love it. It's partly Johnny Depp's performance is great as Barnabas.
I love Ed Wood. That's
Ed Wood, yeah. That was when he did Ed Wood. You thought maybe he was going to mature a little bit as a filmmaker, but that was like his high watermark, I would say, as a filmmaker.
And then the one that
was like the most.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the most real human acting he ever had in a movie.
Right. And you could tell it was personal because you could tell he had a soft spot for Ed Wood, the filmmaker. It's about movie making and it was done in black and white. I just thought it was just right. Like that movie's kind of perfect for what it is. And then the other movie that I liked of his a lot was Big Fish, which is like not exactly his typical aesthetic. It's a little brighter and more colorful and stuff like that. But I like that one. And I mean, aside from that, I don't think he has great films.
Of course, Beetlejuice,
Yeah, I mean, that's fun. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I guess that's pretty much everything now. We're just hanging around in case any of you guys want to give us any more money. That's really good.
More money.
Figure we might stick around, You don't want to you don't want to pack the guitar in the case just before the high roller comes and throws a 50 in. You know what I mean?
There's like the bouncer who grabs you by the ankles and shakes you.
Yeah, right. Come on, get out. Yeah. But yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. It was great to meet you all. For those of you who showed up for the first time, we are at 3475, so we did pretty well. What do you say? 25 of you guys just tap that subscribe button on the way
25, subscribe to stay alive.
Just hit it on the way out. There's 200 of you in here. If half of you are subscribers, if only 25 more on the way out can hit that subscribe button, that would be great. But all right, we are actually going to sign off this time, right? No more bullshit.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, everybody. Well, like I said, like this stream, hit that subscribe button, and be back here Sunday night at 7 p.m. for a full live stream show with different news topics, although there will be more to talk about here.
Hang on. Is there an open letter post Congress crushing them from the Railroad Workers Union?
Perhaps there is. I haven't heard about that.
We have not seen it. I'll look into that.
We will look into it, and we will cover it on Sunday.
Yeah,
if
we'll
there
cover
is,
it
for sure. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, we did a whole show. Basically, almost the entire hour yesterday was devoted to the Railroad Union, and then we interviewed railroad workers after that. So we put out a lot of stuff on that we're pretty proud of. I think the show yesterday came out really good. Both the main show and the interview. I think those both came out well.
Yeah.
Alrighty, yeah. Robert says we got a you hang up, no you hang up type of thing going here. I like this guy's sense of humor. I like him.
Yeah, we should bring him on as an alternate.
Yeah. What was Robert saying before?
We'll
less.
Yeah, we'll pull a Crystal and Sagar. We'll make him do the show.
Yeah, we'll just make you do it. Right? We'll create a sub channel within a channel and just have you do the whole thing. Be like when a student teacher comes to your classroom.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Just teaching the class for 3 weeks.
That's it. Yeah, I'll see you later. I'm off to Tahiti.
All right, everybody.
Good enough for Gauguin. It's good enough for me.
Exactly. All right, folks. Well, thank you. This was a lot of fun. It was great to meet you all. For those who found this the first time, like I said, like and subscribe on the way out. I'm going to put the banner up here, scrolling across the bottom as we go to our outro. Thank you guys very much. Have a great evening. Be safe. Be well. See you next time.
Please clap.